Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. It's a fine Ballsmick Wednesday to you and yours. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. That's always, if you miss things, go back, get caught up. We post all 3 hours every day. As soon as the show ends, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. Feel free to email if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's @JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. On YouTube, if you want to watch us perform the radio duties. Hello, YouTubers. Good to see you. Even though I can't see you, you can see me. ESPN Tallahassee. The draft party's tomorrow. I want to clarify. I think in the ad I say $3 domestics or something like that. It is $3 domestics, but it's $3 bottle domestics. It's just a minor deal. I don't want somebody getting there time go, damn it.
This 75 cents.
Well, it's 75-cent wings, so those are good, and I've had their wings.
But you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're
Nickel and dime. Come on now. It's the draft.
Yeah.
This is one of the signature events.
That's right. Really wouldn't matter about the specials, frankly. It's the camaraderie. It's the time we spend together, friend, watching the NFL draft, seeing which names are called where, decrying the buffoonery that is the organization and leadership that just made the wrong selection yet again. That's always the best. It's when the Jets announce Baker Mayfield as their selection that we all go, ha, ha, ha. Still don't have a quarterback. Sucks to be you. Or the Browns or whomever, right? And that's not a shot at Baker Mayfield. I'm just talking about landing spots, people. Landing spots.
So what is the worst 1-4 combo that the Browns could reasonably pick? For me, it's...
I got it.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield, 1. And 4? Baker Mayfield 1, 4 would be Chubb? No, I think Chubb has a chance to be. That's not a great combo.
It doesn't address need.
No.
You know, they just got Garrett last year.
I'm trying to think of the things that would piss the fans off the most, like a combination of Baker Mayfield and Chubb.
Zeke Ward.
I'm thinking that wouldn't go over well. They'd be like, that's what we did with the picks. Worst combination. That's high up there.
What's crazy is, okay, so apparently it's down to Allen or Mayfield, right? That's if you believe the 11th hour smoke.
We don't know that, though.
If that's the case, then you most certainly take Barkley number 1 overall because one of those two will be available at 4, one would think.
That is correct. They are not going to piss anybody off if they take Saquon Barkley. That's for sure. If they take him number 1, there are enough people out there that have certainly written that article for every fan in Cleveland to read that Saquon Barkley is a can't-miss guy, face of a franchise, on and off camera, the perfect representative for your organization, right? That's what that will be. That's if I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm not in love with picking a running back there, and I'm not even sure Saquon's the best running back in the draft, but okay, I'd live with that one. I just hope that this run on quarterbacks, that here we sit the day before the draft, and the talk is that there's going to be a run on quarterbacks, so much so that a lot of people believe 4 of the first 6 picks are going to be quarterbacks. Good. Come on down, Quentin Nelson. Get pushed further and further down that list, baby.
If Baker gets taken first overall, we're in business, are we not? Because then all of a sudden an Allen or a Rosen is gettable for some team that wants to trade up and go grab one in the top 6.
Yeah, the problem is we still have to deal with the real fear that the Colts are looking at Quentin, because the idea is that you have to protect a rather injury-prone quarterback in Indianapolis currently. They could use a bolstering of the offensive line.
Yeah, but Irsay could be making the call after, any number of activities.
Oh, I hope. By the way, that's who he is. That even after all of those problems, he rolls in, and the first thing he does for all to see, Tom, not in private, not in the back bathroom of his office, but rather in the draft war room. I want to see him doling out pills as he sits down.
You know, I'm not going to say what organization I worked for or when, but I had a boss like that once upon a time.
Did you?
And My goodness.
Dropping it down.
It's just, if you keep your job underneath that person because they do enough, that the organization is successful enough, you'll have stories for life.
Oh, that's
And
good.
I'm sure the people that work for the Colts for 10, 20 years have some incredible stories
with
from
him
behind
out,
the scenes.
Yeah, with him out in the parking lot speaking gibberish to like the wind.
Just questions he asks in the office.
I would love it. I would love it. I think this is going to be a fun draft because there are so many questions and there aren't a whole lot of guarantees. Every draft is filled with question marks. Every draft is filled with uncertainty. Some years feel like it's more volatile than others. I think this is that draft because a lot of times you at least have a quarterback that people will say, all right, well, listen, no sure things. We all got you. But Andrew Luck is as close as they come to a sure thing. Take Andrew Luck. And everybody kind of even sheepishly goes, yeah, you're probably right. He's big, he's strong, got a good arm, he's really smart. That usually translates.
Would have been the number 1 overall pick last year if he came out when he was eligible. Yeah.
Well, and then again, there are no guarantees, and you don't know what a person's injury history and all that stuff, how that's going to play in. But yeah, a lot of times there is a guy where we've eliminated some risk here, and this is the right pick. You just don't have that quarterback in this draft. Even though I think Josh Rosen is by far the best quarterback in this draft, and I believe that more every day. I'll grant you, he ain't Jameis Winston. He's not Andrew Luck. He's not. I mean, we've had some surefire quarterbacks coming out where we go, well, that.
The tools are there. It's just a matter of what you do as an organization from here on out.
Right.
Nobody can blame Stafford for his career. Can you blame it that he's done anything wrong, really?
I don't think so. I don't watch Detroit as religiously as I would if they were my team, but it does strike me as odd that they have some struggles every year in the red zone, and you can say that's personnel or that might be a trait of his.
O-line.
Yeah. I mean,
that's big-time personnel issue over the years.
Well, they haven't had a bruising back to hit it up in there and get you the short yardage stuff and all that, but who cares about the Lions? Nobody cares about the Lions.
No, but all I'm saying is he was tabbed, and he's followed through and delivered. Winston is on pace to do the same. Luck would be doing that if he was healthy. So
we think so. I mean, without question. But there is the Cleveland factor, and they have 2 picks in the first 4, and it's my favorite thing about the draft because Cleveland is always a freak show. It is the best to watch that organization butcher these things. And, they got 1 and 4 sandwiched in between the Giants and the Jets, and 2 New York teams between. That show is a beautiful thing as well.
Well, and not to be, McShay or Kuiper, but why can't Cleveland trade the 4th pick?
Absolutely could.
The 4th one, there'll be so much demand for whoever that player is at 4. I would think they'd be able to get a king's ransom after the first 3 go off the board. Because there'll be it'll be this way. There will either be 1 premier quarterback left. I'm not putting Mayfield in that category necessarily. I think that people who are arguing about quarterbacks, they go with the big 3, and then Mayfield's kind of on the outside looking in, but he's still a first-round talent. Or Saquon Barkley. Somebody big is going to be there at 4, and you could get another 3 or 4 picks for trading the rights to number 4 if you get the guy you want at 1.
I believe that's true. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they do it. I don't root against Cleveland. I've got no feeling one way or the other about Cleveland. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with listen, you're in a good position. You got 2 of the first 5 picks in the draft. It's got to be an amazing thing. One should be excited, not dreading the situation.
Well, lest we forget, last year Chicago traded up 1 spot for Trubisky.
Like a bunch of dumbasses.
And nobody was talking about that the day before.
No, and that's the other part of this every year, the excitement because something goofy is going to happen. Buffalo's going to take E.J. Manuel. What?
The Bucs are going to trade up for Josh Freeman.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's going to happen. Great move there. Johnny Manziel's going to go in the first round. Okay. Yeah, this is clownish. Tim Tebow's going to go in the first round. Can't play a lick. Okay.
That is a legendary story.
Well, we don't have to go back over that one.
Yes, for
There's
Sirius
so many things,
XM.
The funny, we couldn't even tell it there.
That's probably true.
No, not because of what I said, which was wildly inappropriate. I regret a part of what I said when he was drafted. Just a part. Not the general sentiment, which was making
right.
But just some of what I said.
Sure.
Which is not appropriate.
We're in a different decade, man.
Yeah, it's the wrong thing. The best is your face looking at the reaction, the incensed reaction.
Because even when we were in the decade we were in, I was like, "Woo, well,
it's a bit much."
Okay.
Oh boy, yeah. God, that didn't get recorded with somebody's phone.
Oh,
We weren't quite in that era yet, where everybody was recording everything that was going on at all times.
that's
That's a toughie.
maybe listening to the Matt Millar show in the afternoon drive.
Oh, I would have been suspended without pay for a week, I think. I had some sort of a sensitivity training and public apology.
The best is that happens when you're in the bathroom. Just the thought of that. You go in, you come out, and Tebow's drafted. It's just
It was
amazing
stunning.
the things that can happen.
It was stunning.
And that's going to happen to somebody tomorrow night at Bumpus.
Yeah.
Is they're going to go to the bathroom, they're going to come back and go, what the hell did I miss? The whole place erupted.
Yeah. The Browns decided to take Derwin James number 1 overall, which I don't know that would be a terrible pick. It would stun everybody.
Then they take Minka at 4 and say, come get
We
us.
got some safeties, damn it.
It's the race
You're
to
not
10.
throwing nothing. Speaking of Derwin James, obviously he's an easy one. We all know he's going to go in the first round. The question is he one of the first 10 picks? And is that pick from Tampa Bay? Do they go with a kind of the hometown guy, if you will? It's certainly a possibility. Josh Sweat, interesting. We'll talk about this. I went through, did the exercise, went through all the Knowles and kind of in my mind where they would go, did some reading, did some thinking. And, you're going to have bare minimum 5 Knowles taken in the draft. Now, not all tomorrow, obviously. Probably just the one tomorrow. But Josh Sweat will go in the 2nd or 3rd round. Derek Nottie will go in the 3rd or 4th round. Tavares McFadden, 4th to 5th round. Auden Tate's an interesting question. Is he a early 3rd? Is he a 5th round pick? I think if you're looking at the variance as it pertains to Florida State guys, there is no more intriguing pick than Auden Tate. I've seen in some mocks Auden Tate go as high as the end of the 2nd round, which seems extremely high based on what I'm reading elsewhere and the people I've talked to. But I've also seen him as low as late 5th, early 6th. You're not going to get a greater variance on where a guy could go. And I think it's just a matter of this. Either you care that a wide receiver prospect ran a 4.69 or whatever it was that he ran, or you recognize that his game was never built on speed, that he's a big guy who is going to catch the ball in traffic and be a great red zone target, and that he falls in the line of many big receivers that didn't run a good 40 time at the combine but became very productive NFL players. So, that's up for teams to decide what they think he is, what he'll be. With the list of guys, and we'll go over this again, but the list of guys in NFL history that ran slow, and I'm talking about plus 4.7s times at wide receiver are legendary that went on to go on and have Hall of Fame careers. It happens.
I've got this
Not that Auden Tate's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But I've got this weird feeling that Auden Tate's going to go to an organization with a Pro Bowl quarterback, like
And
a
it's
New
gonna work
England
out,
or
yeah.
Green Bay, and it's going to
Oh,
work.
man, so much of this is where you go, what system you're in. I'm reminded of that all the time. What's a perfect situation? Let's take a guy that I think can't play, and let's get a scenario by which he proves me wrong, and that's easily done. But here you go, right? Lamar Jackson can't play, and obviously he was a great college quarterback and was dynamic. We sure as hell couldn't make a tackle against him, and at least one of those games he thoroughly embarrassed us, and kudos to him. I got nothing personally against him. I have interviewed him. Seems like a nice enough kid, and I'm not rooting against him. Let me just get that out there now so nobody thinks there's some weird ulterior motive here. But just given what he is as an inaccurate passer, it's tough to see a way that he becomes a good to elite quarterback in the NFL. All right, so let's just start there. What would have to happen for the transition to be made easier for him to succeed? Well, let him go to a place like New Orleans. Let him go sit behind Drew Brees for the next 2 to 3 years with an offensive mind like Sean Payton. Go to a place like New Orleans and let him ease into the role and find a coach that will adapt what he does to your strengths, right? And then kind of change the system around what you do well and put you in a position to succeed where you don't have to race out there to do it. You know what? Maybe That's the best case scenario. It really does obviously matter where the hell you go.
Before or after pick 17, Lamar Jackson is off the board.
After.
You sure?
No.
People will trade up.
People are crazy. People are crazy. If he goes in the top 17, that's insane. Good God, that's dumb. But yes, he might. You're right. People do asinine things. They draft E.J. Manuel in the first round. I mean, yes.
Remember, Kansas City turned some heads with the Mahomes move last year.
So, I mean.
People are like, whoa.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's found his guy. It's just amazing how it's all presented, too. If it's a coach that they believe is good, then they say, well, this guy's a genius. He must have seen something. And if it's an also-ran organization like, say, Cincinnati, they go, well, they're the Bengals doing it again.
Or the damn Bucks who,
Yes.
do lots of weird things. Although they have not been an unmitigated disaster in the draft. Let's not forget, again, you're looking at a lot of talent as picked up by Jason Light. Whether you're Quan we brought up,
Yep.
but Beckwith was a great selection. Obviously, it's a no-brainer with Evans. He's turned out to be great.
Yes.
And that was actually debatable. A lot of people thought because he's slow, well, I like that he's a big target, but I don't know. I mean, he's turned out to be great.
He was their offense.
Yeah. Well, he's turned out to be awesome.
Yeah.
The Jameis pick was a great pick. It's worked out well. And it was an easy one. I don't give him too much credit for that. That was a no-brainer. But there have been plenty of guys that they've selected that you think, all right, I see that. And they've also had some Ali Marpet was a great pick.
Yes.
I really believe that you want to talk about, really doing your due diligence and finding a guy that a lot of people would not have known about, certainly not us, from afar. You grab an NAIA guy.
They traded up to get him, and as the story goes, the Seahawks would have taken him. And they were not pleased that we saw the same thing that they saw.
Right. So you give him some credit. Now, he's had some disasters, in particular a kicker from school near and dear to our heart. But, okay. It happens.
Right.
There aren't too many GMs.
Oh, the Hargraves one hasn't worked out as yet, but the book's still slightly ajar on that one. It's not fully closed yet.
It's not fully closed. He's never going to be elite. He could be an average starter in the league. I'll give you that's his ceiling, I think, is an average starting corner in the league. And I'll tell you what, right about now, if Vernon Hargraves becomes an average corner in this league over the next 4 to 5 years, worthy of starting, okay. He'll meet my standard.
That's right.
He will meet my standard. Now,
consistency in your standard needs to,
Yeah. And I'm telling you what it is. Now, there are plenty of people who say that standard is awfully low.
For a top 10 pick, yes.
For a top 10 pick, like you and Mario. I think that's a pretty low standard.
Yeah, hopefully he's...
But Mario's going to... If he ends up being...
Let's say he's an upper echelon nickel corner, but he's not a starting outside corner.
Well, then it's a new debate then, right?
Well, then you got to debate how valuable is a nickel corner versus an outside corner.
Well, it's a changing league, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's your base formation. Yeah. How many times do you have 3 linebackers out there anyway?
Oh, man. I just got a bunch of... I love this. Brent writes, please tell me what you said when Tim Tebow got drafted. I can't, Brent.
No.
Not and remain employed. Tom writes, laugh out loud when the Browns tell the Bears, hold my beer, and proceed to trade up from 4 to draft Darnold at 1 and Mayfield at 2.
Now, damn it, we're going to solve this problem.
Yeah,
and yes, we did. We just did that. I understand. But we're going to solve this problem. We're going to have a quarterback.
That sounds like some Mike Ditka action right there. Just something insane.
And then Rosen is a 10-year All-Pro, and the other two are out of the league.
Which would be what happens. I'm intrigued by Rosen, man. I love it, what he did last night.
I feel like, because you saw what happened with Mayfield and all this buzz in the last 2 days, there is Lamar Jackson buzz coming tomorrow, reported by a otherwise reputable organization. They're going to talk about how there's somebody's going to trade up into the teens or something like that for Lamar Jackson. That story, it's already pre-written. Somebody's waiting to release it, so there's sexy draft day buzz because this Mayfield thing is dying down.
Somebody already did. There's a thought, and it was weird, but somebody floated the story that the New England Patriots were interested in Lamar Jackson late in the first.
That'll be mainstream by tomorrow morning.
I read that and chuckled aloud and thought, well, they're drafting him to play receiver. I mean, what are we doing here? Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Armor All Protectant, now $5.99 for a 16-ounce bottle. Renew, revitalize, and protect your vehicle with Armor All Protectant for $5.99 during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day, happening this Friday from noon till 4 at Killearn Country Club. Get custom fit by vendor reps from Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, Cleveland, Ping, Bushnell, and Wilson staff. And while you're there, register to win a $500 shopping spree. Don't miss the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day, featuring custom fitting, deals, prizes, and more. This Friday from noon till 4 at Killearn Country Club. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, celebrating 50 years of serving golfers around the country.
There is a sound no business owner should ever hear. It could mean you're out of ink, paper, or maybe that old printer is done for good.
I think we lost him.
Go to Staples. Staples has low prices every day on a great selection of ink, paper, and the latest printers. Now at Staples, get the HP LaserJet Pro M203DW for $129.99. Staples, your total printing solution.
While supplies last. Valid on SKU 244-4436. Expires 4/28/18.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores, and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right, more watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
My man Marvin Harrison's back in the news, Tom.
Maybe.
Marvin, one-time Harrison.
Maybe. I don't know if it was him.
Oh, Marvin, one-time Harrison with a bat beating a tenant who was short on his rent on film. Yeah.
Domino, mother. Say about that.
Love you, Marvin. Marvin, one time. For those that are new to the show, you do not remember the long-running conversation and the stunned reaction we had when it came to light that Marvin Harrison was a kingpin in his hometown of Philadelphia after being called the classiest person in football. Well, you know, Tom, he just hands the ball back to the official every time he scores. He acts like he's been there before. Plus, he's a great route runner. Stays after practice with Peyton.
You never see him calling attention to himself.
No.
Now we know why.
Now we know why. There was the video of him going to the bar that he owned where he pulled a piece out on the lane.
Perhaps a Desert Eagle?
Yeah. Some impressive. Yeah, he had a German elephant gun at one point that he tried to hide, we think.
Sorry, the Desert Eagle was at the car wash.
That's right. Well, that gun was what he threw in the bucket after shooting the guy at the bar. I mean, Marvin's done some things now. This would be the latest in a string of troubling incidents involving Marvin Harrison. He allegedly attacked a tenant with a bat over the weekend for being late with the rent. I just watched the video, and it's outstanding. It's him walking towards the tenant who's, like, basically crying out for help because Marvin has come to collect, and he wants his money.
I've asked you one time.
And that's more than most get. So he owns a string of buildings there in Philly. And one time. I'm so glad to see him back in the news. I'm telling you, more than any other player, nobody surprised us more when it came to light that Marvin has been involved in some things, including perhaps homicide, post-career.
Listen, you can keep on saying, and Marvin, I want this to be clear, you can keep on saying troubling incidents. I will just say unfounded allegations.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to classify those as.
So you remember that guy? There was a guy named Pop who went to the police, Dwight Dixon. That was his name, Dwight Dixon, a.k.a. Pop. He accused Harrison of shooting him in April of 2008. Police did a search. They tried to find out what happened there, and they did a search in the state database of gun licenses and came up with Harrison's name connected to two of the weapons used in a shooting. And it led to a conversation between Pops and the police, which turned out to be a really interesting conversation. Unfortunately, some of the angles of the cameras that were filming at that time did not allow for a conviction of Marvin Harrison and his cousin, Lonnie Anderson, also suspected of the shooting. So it occurred down the street from a bar that Harrison owned called Playmakers. That was the name of the bar that he owned there in Philly. This is like a show. But that happened. All right, and that camera that they found at Playmakers to try to get the third angle was missing 3 minutes of tape, the 3 minutes they were looking for, conveniently. So they did not get a conviction. Pops was later killed. Somebody shot him.
Chew on that.
They don't know. To this day, no idea who shot Pops after he had gone to the police to talk about having been shot previously at Playmakers. Pops has long since been dead. This is unbelievable, man. That story is crazy. Go read the 2010 GQ story on Marvin Harrison. I mean, the things he's alleged to have been involved in and done in his life, it's The Wire. It's unbelievable. And he was 20 years in the league, all-pro wide receiver. How in the world
He was buttoned up. That's how. He takes care of loose ends.
Oh, he clearly.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's another unfounded allegation. What video evidence can you provide
I have
to
none.
convince me?
I have none. I have none. But it wasn't as good. None of these stories were nearly as good as the time that Marvin slapped a fan in Hawaii, allegedly, who had asked for an autograph while he was done practicing in the Pro Bowl. And then Marvin ignored the fan's request for an autograph on a football, and the fan doubled down with the request, kind of in a pushy way, and allegedly was slapped across the face with great gusto by one Marvin Harrison, who I suppose has strong hands. And then he kept walking, and that could, too, never be proven.
Didn't expect that, did you?
I would have loved to have seen the moment that a fan
There's your autograph.
I mean, imagine that.
You want an Yeah. That autograph's not coming off for 2 weeks. What do you think of that?
Oh, man. All right, I'm done talking about Marvin. Because people are out here telling Bomani that I'm talking about Marvin now, and no, keep it moving.
That's right.
Moving, right?
He is. Unfounded allegations. That's where I'm going to stand on this one.
It is an all-timer. That is still my favorite thing.
Could you imagine campus life with Marvin
At
Harrison
Syracuse?
as he's rising to prominence, I suppose, at the same time? I mean, man.
Can you think of another player that
we don't want to party with Marvin, guys.
No. That's a different kind of
party. I know
party.
you're up here for a visit and you want to meet Marvin.
That's a different kind of party right there.
Let's go talk with McNabb.
Yeah.
We're cool over there, but Marvin, let's leave him alone.
Marvin would have had no time for McNabb. Marvin and McNabb are different guys. Very different guys. Fundamentally different guys.
Are you saying you don't have the heart?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine?
Have this conversation?
Imagine if Donovan McNabb was throwing up in the huddle and Marvin Harrison was on that team.
McNabb?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to make fun of you. He just says your name in a certain way and you go, ooh.
So, again, we do this every time a Marvin Harrison story comes up. Ooh, I shudder saying the name aloud. Who in the NFL, I mean, go back to that guy's career. Let's go back and revisit the narrative of Marvin Harrison.
He's on Gatorade commercials.
Work ethic like no other. Brilliant football mind. Dedicated to the organization, its community. His teammates, Peyton Manning and him, are at all times just this symbiotic relationship that is Hall of Fame destined. You won't find two people who work harder together and see eye to eye more than Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. So who would have to have been revealed to be a monster to surprise you more than Marvin Harrison? Warwick Dunn?
God, that would be stunning. Yes, you've nailed it. Game over.
Wouldn't that be the most stunning?
That's the old bump set spike to yourself. You handle that one completely. Warwick Dunn. That would be truly stunning. That would hurt, actually.
Because we love Warwick and what he's done in his life is beyond reproach. But I'm just saying, like...
love a fictional scenario where Peyton calls up Marvin. Marvin, now, I know you don't want to take this call, so if you'd like to meet, they sit down at the diner. I got something that needs to go away, Marvin, and I've heard you might need to be the person I talk to.
Marvin probably wouldn't speak in that meeting. He wouldn't say a word. He'd just nod.
And he passed over a card
that had an address.
That had an address and a phone number.
Yeah, and that'd be that. And Marvin would get up, probably pay the bill like a pimp, and walk away.
Cash
money.
There'd be a hundo.
That's it.
And
for like a cup of coffee.
Was a coffee.
Of course he did, because he's
He's always up.
Yeah.
I'm always up. That's all he says.
He gets up. But he loves Peyton. He loves Peyton.
Right, because Peyton works hard.
Peyton works hard. He gets it done.
He knocks the table.
It's the same sort of work ethic. They just knock on and he walks away. $100 bill remains. Gets up, walks away. That's the end of it. And then they're at practice that Monday. Marvin walks by, just pats Peyton on the back. It's understood. Peyton's like, all right, let's have us a good day of practice. No more words.
Somebody get Marvin a water.
We're talking about the franchise. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
Right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
But if they did, you might be surprised to see you could be mowing thousands of miles a year. That's why Gravely zero-turn mowers are built for the long haul. So when you're mowing the equivalent of Miami through Kentucky bluegrass country, all the way to Seattle, and back again every year, you can count on your Gravely zero-turn mower to get the job done, mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to give you special savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth during the Mahindra Red Tag sale. Hurry in for up to $7,900 in cash back and Red Tag savings. Only from Mahindra.
Up to $7,900 in cash back savings. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view selection.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
In Thomasville, Georgia.
Say what? It's the boy Big Snoop D-O-double-G. And I got a very special message to the players. That's right, to the males. Sexual performance issues are more common than you think. Maybe not for me, but probably for you. Over 25% of new ED cases are guys under 40. So what do you do if you suffer from ED? Go to 4hims.com, the wellness brand for men, so you can look good, feel good, and perform well in the bedroom. You dig? Thanks to science, E to the D can be optional. Say, man, don't be embarrassed. Guys should take better care of themselves. Look good, feel good, live good, like me. It's $5. $5 to try it out, man. And it comes right to your crib. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Go to forhims.com/love. FORHIMS.com/love. For him/love. Go.
Ah, the perfect lunch spot. A nearly impossible find. Thankfully for Tallahassee, we have Metro Deli. A downtown gem for over 15 years, Metro Deli is locally owned and features the best deli meats, cheeses, breads, and ingredients in the city. Enjoy daily specials and soups, salads and wraps. There's something for everyone. Metro Deli offers online ordering for pickup or delivery and will cater your office breakfast or lunch too. Tallahassee's perfect lunch spot is Metro Deli. MetroDeliTally.com. That's MetroDeliTally.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. There's plenty of debate right now over how the top of the NFL draft will shake out tomorrow in Texas. The Browns hold the number 1 overall pick. The Giants are at 2, and the Jets are at 3. There's also plenty of debate about this quarterback class ready to be drafted tomorrow. ESPN's Sal Paolantonio.
I think Baker Mayfield is the number 1 quarterback in this draft, by far. I mean, to me, the two most important traits that you cannot do without at the NFL level is you have to be accurate with the football and you have to make quick decisions, good decisions. When it counts the most, 3rd and 5, fourth quarter, in the red zone.
South Palantonio on Golic and Wingo. Full coverage of the first round of the NFL Draft starts at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on ESPN Radio, TV, and the app. In the NBA playoffs today, 4 games. All of them are Game 5. The Cavaliers bring the Pacers back to Cleveland. The series tied at 2. The Raptors get the Wizards in Toronto. That series tied at 2. And there are 2 elimination games in the West. The Rockets lead the Timberwolves 3-1 with tonight's game in Houston. And the Jazz lead the Thunder 3-1 with tonight's game in Oklahoma City. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the NBA will not change the one-and-done rule for incoming players until at least 2020. The Commission on College Basketball issued a report today recommending that high school players should again be allowed to go right to the NBA. ESPN's Michael C. Wright reports the Spurs plan to hold a meeting with forward Kawhi Leonard over the summer to see if the two sides can work out their differences and keep Leonard in San Antonio. He played only 9 games this season with a quad injury as the relationship between the two sides deteriorated.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday.
Balls you fire.
Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Come on, Story. I need you to pop up. I'm trying to read you.
I know you love me.
I got it. This makes me laugh because I was reminded very early this morning over a cup of coffee of how it was that the University of Florida handled the Antonio Callaway situation. And not all that many years removed after so many in the college football world pointed their finger at Florida State and thought that the investigation into Jameis Winston and the way that it was handled by the university and local police was a travesty, etc. But former Florida wide receiver Antonio Callaway, whom some personnel evaluators like, noted that he tested positive for marijuana at the Combine, according to NFL sources. Now, that in and of itself isn't the story. That happens a lot these days, which is something of a marvel. And I know we've even had some players do that as well here at Florida State and cost themselves a lot of money. Callaway's new agent, Malachi Kaiwa, or Malki Kaiwa, I could be saying his name wrong, I apologize for that, says, hey, it was for a diluted sample. Now, the NFL treats that as a positive test under the NFL's policy and program on substance abuse. And that new agent was not representing Callaway at the time, so he's saying, listen, first of all, it was for a diluted sample, and I wasn't his agent. As if that would have made a difference.
Right. It doesn't make any difference at all for the Combine, but yes, this person's services were retained 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Right. As if Callaway was blaming his previous agent for the fact that he smoked pot and was busted for doing so at the Combine. He fired that former agent. It was Melvin Bratton. They parted ways once he was told by the NFL, yeah, you got popped, man. Now, in December of 2015, you may recall, a female Florida student accused Callaway of sexual assault. But a Title IX hearing cleared him of wrongdoing in August of 2016. The woman and her witness boycotted that hearing, though, because the university appointed an attorney who was a Gators football booster to hear the case. Just a reminder of the way the two universities handled similar situations, and the one that was ostracized and the one that was largely ignored.
I believe it was a Florida State Supreme Court justice
That's
that
correct.
was handling our Title IX proceedings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the hearings officer's ruling, Callaway testified that he was high on marijuana during the encounter and would not have been able to have sex with somebody. Quote, unquote, I was too stoned. Callaway was one of 9 Florida players last year who allegedly used stolen credit card information to fund bookstore accounts. He was cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession and possession of drug equipment during a traffic stop in Gainesville, which is shocking in and of itself because people who get stopped in Gainesville that play football for the University of Florida do not get in trouble. One talent evaluator said Callaway had enough talent, quote, to one day wear a gold jacket. That's one talent evaluator. Those that saw him play in Florida would never have said that. Anyhow, that's my opinion. That's not written in the story. Asked recently about his mistakes in the past, Callaway said, I mean, man, I've matured. I'm past that. I don't dwell on none of that. It happened. It happened. I can't cry over it. I was young and dumb. I've grown a lot. I got a beautiful girl to look after, so I ain't got no choice but to be a man now. Might have affected, you would have thought, your decision to smoke some weed while headed to the combine.
Maybe, but perhaps these last couple of months have been just that instrumental in changing who he is. I would say, on a serious note, he can ball. I thought he was a really good receiver on a really, really bad team.
I thought he was an NFL prospect to be sure. I wouldn't have had fitted for a Hall of Fame jacket.
Sure.
That's what I was taking issue with. I didn't see transcendent talent from Callaway. I saw a guy that could play who was obviously stuck playing with a quarterback or one who called himself a quarterback but wasn't. They hadn't had one.
No, it was the okay, so got to do my math quickly. That would have been the 2015 game where Dalvin kind of won it single-handedly in the second half for us. We wore him down. It was 27-2, I believe, was the final in that game.
Just the 2 points.
Yes, we scored for them. And he was going to go for 100 to 200 receiving yards if he had anybody capable of throwing him the football. He could create space for himself. But
yeah,
he was
he's
in
physically gifted. There's no doubt.
Terrible circumstance where quarterbacks could not get him the football.
Why would anybody go to Florida without the quarterback talent requisite to win football games and to move the football at least frequently enough not to have your defense worn down, which was an A-plus defense for many years. No longer is it an A-plus defense, and still they search for a quarterback. Tough times, Tom. Tough times that saw another losing season.
Yeah, I need a reason to say yes. Coach Mullen, can you give me a reason?
He has in the past, though. He has in the past, and that is the hope, and that's why if you hired him, which they did, then you say, okay, this guy will at least get a competent level of play at quarterback for us. And I think that's true. I think he will.
Number of 10-win seasons for Dan Mullen, not including bowl games, by the year 2021. So that gives him 4 seasons.
He's got 4 full seasons to win 10 games in one of those seasons or multiple seasons.
Yeah, by the end of that year. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a full recruiting cycle.
Can we pull? Do we want to do the Florida schedule thing? You want to do that right
for
now?
this year? Well, he's not winning 10 this year.
No, I know he's not. I mean, can we look ahead? So, yeah, he's not winning 10 this year. Can he win 10 next year if he's got a competent quarterback?
See, the thing is they play LSU on the other side every year, but LSU's not exactly
I don't think
LSU
is moving in the right direction either.
He's got to play Georgia.
One 10-win season in that.
In his first 4 years,
yeah,
he'll have one 10-win season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, again, doesn't mean that they won't be moving in the right direction. If he had a multitude of 9-win seasons and was recruiting well, you could be moving in the right direction. He's not. Year one doesn't really count in this discussion because he can't be asked to win 10 games in year one, given the mess that he's inheriting. By year 2, it's close. I think he'll get it by year 3, and then we'll see where they're at.
Well, that would mean he'd have to catch us in Georgia, right? Because you would have to think you can't go and lose to us 3 years in a row and then finish 10-2.
Not likely.
You don't have any wiggle room there. You got to play us in Georgia. That's just the way it is.
But let's say they lose to Georgia. And then you could still go 10-2. So who would your other loss?
You'd have to play
State,
perfect outside of
But I think they can steady beat LSU.
Then you got Tennessee. Sometimes you'll cross over with Auburn or Alabama.
Certainly wouldn't worry about Tennessee.
Really? See, again, there's a big head start for Tennessee in this race between the two of those programs right now. I mean, how they lost last.
I understand what you're saying, that Butch Jones did a good job in recruiting. And therefore, they have some players. I don't know. We'll see. Jeremy Pruitt's a first-time head coach in college football. I'm going to talk about him soon because what he did during the spring game is silly and ostracized the fan base already. I don't know that he's going to make great strides there. Now, he may, because he certainly isn't lacking a work ethic, and his acumen for the game I don't think has ever been in question. I've never thought of him as a head coach. Not as refined as I'd like my head coach to be personally, but
sure.
But we'll see.
Butch found a way to lose last year. I mean, he tried very hard to lose that game last year. And so they did on the final, and it still took,
crazy play.
A crazy play instead of overtime or whatever it was going to be.
Tennessee is 62-63 over the last 10 years. They have a losing record. That's a lot to take over. That's a lot to undo.
Agreed.
When I will say this, if let's just assume that both do a great job. Florida at peak efficiency is a vastly superior program to Tennessee at peak efficiency.
Yes. I'd say they're a year behind Tennessee right now, though, of being at
in
peak.
Recruiting.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think you can get there in a hurry compared to Tennessee. I think Tennessee at its best, Florida at its best, two wildly different programs. This is why Tennessee always has a problem. If every school, and we all know they can't simultaneously be, but if every school is humming, Alabama is a place that recruits go over Tennessee. Georgia is a place that recruits go over Tennessee. Florida is a place that recruits go over Tennessee. I think LSU is a place recruits go over Tennessee. And Auburn, I mean, we can keep going. It gets tough. I think Tennessee's middle rung at best in that conference if all things are going well. I'm not talking about their passion or their investment. Obviously, huge stadium, 100,000 people showing up. I got it, but
here's a question for you. Over the next 4 or 5 seasons, again, a full recruiting cycle for a lot of new coaches and some that are just getting to where they are. Kirby a couple of years ago, and then Will Muschamp at South Carolina. Georgia is probably the best team if you're looking at a 5-year window, not just the next couple, right? If we look back a handful of years from now and say who have been the best teams in the SEC East, you're probably going to have Georgia at the top, right?
Yes, and I think Florida will be too.
Really? Over even a South Carolina or a Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, what can you really do at South Carolina?
Florida's ass for the next year or two.
Once in a great while, you can have a good season. I mean,
but we're assuming Florida is going to climb that mountain quickly. I guess that's my point. You think he's going to get back to a place where
Dan Mullen has proven himself to be more than a competent coach everywhere he's ever been. I mean, Dan Mullen's a really good coach. I don't think that he's going to win the head-to-head recruiting battle on the regular against Florida State. But I think Dan Mullen's going to do a decent job at Florida. I don't think it was a terrible hire.
No, I don't think so either. But much like how the deck is stacked differently for Willie when he takes over Florida State than when Jimbo took over Florida State, the deck in the Southeast is stacked quite differently for Dan Mullen in this situation, given when Urban took over, for example, or even Muschamp. The door was open for Will to do some things.
Yeah.
The door is not nearly the same. I mean, you got some more hurdles to overcome here if you're at UF.
You do. And right now, by the way, if you're just wondering, and I love looking at this, 2019 composite team rankings in recruiting, Oklahoma 1, A&M 2, Florida State number 3, Alabama. Ole Miss somehow is in the top 5 on this list.
They're back?
It's crazy, right? Clemson, Miami, Michigan, Georgia, Mississippi State, all teams in 2019 ahead of Florida. South Carolina, LSU, still ahead of Florida. We're looking at Florida down there below Iowa State, Duke, and TCU. Problematic. 0 5-star commits, 1 4-star commit. Yeah,
there's some lean times.
There's work to be done.
To play a lot of freshmen next year if you're trying to flip this thing. You're going to have to survive this year, and then next year he's going to have to play a lot of freshmen.
Work to be done, Tom. This could be tough. But I like him as a hire more than I do Jeremy Pruitt at Tennessee. And Florida, again, even if they're not at peak, their second and third gear is better than that at Tennessee's first. I think. Tennessee fan is going to disagree with that immensely and be angry with me, but I do.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
The farther the better, because they don't call them milestones for nothing. Find the tires for your next adventure at FirestoneTire.com. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's you, Jamie. Listen, I forgive you. That birthday shout-out to Lester might have been poorly timed and mildly dangerous, but doggone it, you put your heart into it. Besides, forgiveness is what Progressive is all about. That's why our loyal customers enjoy accident forgiveness at no extra cost. So, I forgive you. Even if Lester and the fire department don't. Or the improv troupe. That was bad.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Accident forgiveness not available in all states or situations.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual-bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale. Don't miss great Buy One, Get One Free deals throughout the store. So many BOGOs, we can't name them all. Start the season right with savings on quality products from Scott's, Roundup, Ortho, and more. There are so many BOGOs and so many ways to save. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale ends Monday. Offers valid at participating stores. Buy select item and get designated item free. See store for details.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Live from the AmeriGas propane studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 US Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do miss something, go get caught up. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Is there a player that that Tampa Bay could draft tomorrow night when we're at Bumpa's, enjoying the draft together with our listeners and anybody who would like to come out and enjoy themselves on a beautiful evening while taking in one of, 557 big screen televisions and great food and open air and all that goodness? Did I overestimate the amount of TVs by a couple? Sorry.
Give or take.
Is there a player that the Bucs could take that you would be incensed?
Ooh.
So if the Bucs take Saquon Barkley, if the Bucs take Chubb, if the Bucs take Derwin James, if the Bucs take these are all people not named Quentin Nelson, which is the right pick. If they take golly, I don't know.
Well, they wouldn't take either of the linebackers. We're stacked at linebackers, so they couldn't even lie to themselves.
Right.
So no there. No, I can't envision a player. I mean, Derwin James I've cooled on in terms of the angry factor if they took him. In the beginning, I was like, no.
Yeah, I told you, man, he can't be that upset about that pick. That's not a terrible pick. It's a position of need.
I wouldn't be thrilled. That would probably be the one that has me quietest after they pick. Because that's the measure, isn't it? If you're quiet after your team picks somebody you don't like.
And I'll tell you why, though. Tom, for you and me, it's the same thing. It's sort of like, okay, the reason we think that is because we're holding our breath that a Florida State prospect comes in and does well, right? That's what we're excited about. We want him to do well, and he happens to be playing for our favorite professional team to boot. And so there's nerves involved in that quiet.
Well, and if you take a defensive player that's not an end, and this would even be true for Fitzpatrick, obviously, you go, all right, well, then it's JPP and this guy. Those are the 2 new players, and we're done there. We have to go shopping elsewhere now. Mm-hmm. I get that they have interior players that they've got that are new, and they're going to be role players when you get to the rotation of the front 4, but so your 2 big additions are Derwin James and JPP. Okay. I feel like there would be a little bit more.
There's the rest of the draft, so you would get a running back in the second round, and you'd be excited about that.
On defense. I'm just saying for the defensive side of the ball. It's all right, so what have we done to solve the problem? Well, we fired our D-line coach. We kept Mike Smith. We got Pierre Paul and Derwin. All right, we'll see. I'm not so sure this is going to work. I'm telling you, that would be precisely my attitude towards it.
You know what feels like, and I think you'll agree with me, you know what feels like the right draft? Quentin Nelson to the Bucs at number 7 and Ronald Jones to the Bucs in the second round.
I'm okay with that.
That sounds like a good draft.
That sounds like a nice
draft.
draft.
That sounds like a 1-2 get you.
That's where,
yeah.
I'd find you if I wasn't around you. I'd find you and then just shake your hand and get back in the car and leave. That's it.
We're all right.
We wouldn't need to say a word.
It's going to be all
Shake your hand
right.
and say, all right, buddy.
Done some good things. Time to get down.
Well, it's like playing the correct pocket pair correctly in playing the perfect one or the best one in Hold'em.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't guarantee you're going to win the hand,
right?
But you got to do the most with what you got in your hand.
There would be no way that a player, we do know this, there's no way that a Denzel Ward could ever fall far enough for us in that second round. But it's funny, you brought up Roquan Smith from Georgia, the linebacker that.
Him or Edmonds from Virginia Tech. Those are the 2 that,
Yeah. But it's Roquan Smith. We know that. So here's the thing about that discussion.
Is that the one the Colts like? Is he the one that Jeremiah thinks they're going to take?
Yeah, well, a lot of people love him, and I'm one of them. I wish we needed a linebacker just so we could draft him. I love him.
Can he rush?
He is a beast. It's just we don't need a linebacker.
Although, how about that report from Joe Buck's fan last week where he said that Kendall Beckwith got in a car wreck and he dinged up his ankle.
Knee, yeah.
He broke his ankle or something?
That was really, literally heartbreaking. I was like, what happened? I didn't hear this.
Listen, I get I was wrong about Levante David last year, but I'm going to be right eventually. And when that time comes,
we're going to need
Kendall Beckwith. So are we going to go from having 3 linebackers to 1?
At Jay Cameron Show, who would you rather have on your team, Auden Tate or Kelvin Benjamin? Hashtag a-hole. That's per our discussion both today and yesterday of receivers. Kelvin Benjamin.
Hashtag a-hole.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin has proven himself to be a Pro Bowler in the league. Now, listen, I don't know how many more times he will be able to prove that, and I don't like the trajectory of his career currently. But remember, he had a year lost due to an injury, and then he was in an untenable situation in which, when he got traded to Buffalo, they don't have a quarterback. So, yeah, he's a little bit in limbo. But at his best, we've already seen what he is in the league. Auden Tate's a possession receiver in the league. He's a 4th or 5th round guy.
I really like Tate, I've got two questions.
Come on, man.
The
answer to that question. Just answer that question. Auden Tate or Kelvin Benjamin?
Well, for how long, though?
I'm saying it's right
as a
now,
5-year investment or a season? It's KB for a season. If you're, that's all I'm saying.
It's. We disagree on this. It's KB, no matter how long you're pointing to.
Our team is the Bucks, so the answer is KB.
Right.
Because Winston knows how to push the buttons. But if my team doesn't have a quarterback or a compelling reason to play on a week-to-week basis, then I want Tate.
No, I want Kelvin Benjamin because I can just throw it up to his ass because he doesn't have to run routes.
He doesn't want to run routes if our team is terrible. So that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying you throw it up to him and he goes and makes the play because he's bigger, stronger. That's just what he is.
That's true, but he's got to care. And if my team is crappy, then I want somebody who I know cares, and Tate cares.
Kelvin certainly cared when he got to the league, man. He got hurt the next year. I just cut myself on the head. I got so angry. I'm scratching my head.
He cares if he's on a team that's got a shot. Tate played through shoulder problems last year for a team that wasn't going anywhere, trying to fight to get bowl eligible.
I like Auden Tate a lot. I'm merely speaking of what I think they can be physically for your team. If, we're going to assume they're going to try hard. I am making assumptions that my player in this scenario is going to attempt to play hard. I mean... if one of them is going to be a Jake, then obviously I'll take the other.
That's why it depends on who the team is. For the Bucks, it's an easy answer.
Yeah, it's Kelvin Benjamin, yeah. If it's just based on talent, it's Kelvin Benjamin, too.
Well, Jay Cutler would win a lot of talent discussions, but he can't do you any damn good on a bad team. He shuts down. But everybody falls in love with his arm every year. Dolphins did it again last year.
Yeah, that wasn't a terrible move for the Dolphins, though. They didn't have a choice. That guy knew the system. Whatever, he played.
Who had more talent, him or Romo? Cutler has more talent.
But Romo's back doesn't work.
No, but just arm talent. The things that the traditional quarterback tools.
Yeah.
Cutler has way more talent than Romo.
Yeah. Well, there are guys throughout league history that you go, whoa, man, he just never made the most of it. Jeff George probably had the strongest arm I've ever seen.
Well, I'd ask,
Jeff George.
All right, so KB got traded away. Like, why would they? What were they thinking? What evidence did they have to say he needs to be gone?
I don't think they like his injury history. I think as a big guy who's had an injury history, especially with a knee, I think that they think long-term that's problematic. I don't disagree with that. I don't like where his career arc is headed. But if this is just based on talent and, I'm going to assume he's trying hard and staying in shape, then I'm going to take KB. At Jay Cameron Show, XL the Ghost says, 0, Tom, on that UF10 win thing you're talking about.
I tend to agree.
He goes with 0. I went with 1. I wasn't radically different than you all. I said one time he would win 10 games.
That
you guys act
unacceptable.
That's egregious, Cameron. You Gator homer. What's wrong with you?
Is that card orange and blue over there? My Mets hat?
I said he'd win 10 games one time. At Jay Cameron Show, would you rather have McFadden returning punts or Hargraves starting? Hargraves starting, my friend.
Starting, yeah.
Hargraves starting.
Oh, God.
At all times, yes.
You should ask if I would rather have Sabby Piscatelli starting or McFadden returning punts. Now you have a debate.
I do not understand why it is you got to go out there and throw in a Sabby Piscatelli in the midst of doing the show. You know how that unnerves me? Brings me back to a dark place.
Looks like Sabby has to come out for a play, so Cody Grimm will take his place.
My God. Hey, draft party's going to be fun tomorrow. Good times. You won't be angry if we draft Derwin.
No, but I'd be like, okay. I
would be neat to see Derwin in a Bucs uniform, you had to admit.
Well, he'll make it look better than it does.
Oh, he surely will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll make plays. He's a playmaker. He can make plays. We didn't properly utilize him here necessarily, but.
You bleeding?
I am. I cut myself somehow on my head here. Well, I shave my head every day, and sometimes I get nicks, and then you made me mad, and I itched it, bleeding all over the place like a wrestler.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com.
Could you turn that down a little, please? Hello, my name is Jim Smith, and I'm the owner of Poor Paul's here in Tallahassee. First, I want to thank you all for stopping. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here on the Capitol steps and why I don't have any clothes on.
Because you're a pervert.
Let me explain. This is being recorded for a Poor Paul's radio commercial, and I think if I record it totally nude, people will pay more attention to my message. Business is great at Poor Paul's, but I still have one small problem.
I'll say you do.
My problem is that in spite of having free Gumby's Pizza and $4.95 pitchers every Sunday and Monday night, free beer and free mixed drinks for our lovely ladies every Tuesday night, and other great money-saving specials every other night of the week, some of you are still going to other bars whose owners would never bare their souls, so to speak, as I am. So I'm simply asking for your business so Poor Paul's can grow.
I see something else that needs to grow.
This isn't working. Hand me that towel, please.
I have a hanky.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Attention yards of America, now you have a holiday too. Toro Days at the Home Depot. With the best prices of the season on the latest Toro push mowers, zero-turn mowers, blowers, and trimmers. To celebrate, come in now for $25 off any Toro self-propelled walk-behind mower. Then, get outside and enjoy the holiday. The best prices of the season on Toro. Happy Toro Days from the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Offers valid April 19th through May 2nd.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale. Don't miss great Buy One, Get One Free deals throughout the store. So many BOGOs, we can't name them all. Start the season right with savings on quality products from Scott's, Roundup, Ortho, and more. There are so many BOGOs and so many ways to save. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale ends Monday. Offers valid at participating stores. Buy select item and get designated item free. See store for details.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
A fungi we have in our ears. You and me, specifically. We are some headphone wearing fools.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it's pretty. I mean, I'm clean. You're clean. I try to do what I can, but I tell you not to wear a lot of headphones. We wear them every day.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I just thought about it. I was listening to that Buffalo Tom song, and I like Buffalo Tom, and I think, man, Jeff, recently you've been listening to headphones even when you're not working. You know, I get a new record or something, and I put on my new headphones, and I go for a walk with the dogs, and I'm listening to headphones while I'm out of work after having worn headphones most of the day, and I'm like, I'm sure I'm a mess.
Just give them the loofah treatment. You know?
Oh, I give them the loofah treatment.
Just use one, hand to plug up and make sure it doesn't go in the ear and get you, with the underwater ear effect, and then you're good to go.
Oh, I get after it. Two things, by the way. One, it does make me laugh that every couple of days a new announcement comes out regarding teams that have scheduled home and homes with one another, like in the year 2040. North Carolina and Minnesota, which seem like comparable programs, are going to face one another in 2023 and 2024, Tom, just so you know.
There you go. PJ Fleck will have won 2 national titles by then because he's the up-and-comer we need.
Larry Fedora will not be employed, but he will be working out somewhere near you with his shirt off.
Yeah, he'll be a male model.
That's what he'll be doing.
For the over 50 magazines.
Anyhow, 2023, 2024, I just celebrate these things not because, hey, I'm going to go to the Notre Dame, Alabama home and home series, but because we're seeing a trend go back to where it should go back to, which is that teams are saying, I'll play you on your home football field if you'll come to our home football field and not some neutral site game in a sterile dome that we get an extra $1 or $2 for.
Listen, bowl communities have figured out how to divvy up money between a lot of hands and a lot of parties. They have their own committees that make $1 million a year in some job instances, just to schedule a preseason kickoff.
Which is amazing.
Right. So I would think that universities could get their heads together around a corporate sponsor.
Yes.
Being a home and home sponsor.
Speak it, Tom.
Right.
Make it happen.
There it is.
I beg of you.
It's the UPS...
whatever
LSU,
game
Florida
at
State,
LSU.
Yes. Tiger Knoll showdown.
There it is. Let's have this conversation.
So you have the logo at the 50-yard line, the regular one.
The
and
regular
then you have the
one.
conference logos, and then you have the
and
corporate
then the
sponsor.
big UPS right there.
It's a 2-year series.
Who can't get down with UPS? Good job, UPS. We're going to sponsor the LSU series that's coming in 2024, 2025, right?
Ground transportation from the airport brought to you by... There it is.
Oh,
we're all done here.
We're done. It's money in the bank. It's well spent. A series you would want to see next on the docket. Name it. Name it. Home and home now. We're going to that stadium. We're going to that stadium. In fact, we're going to that stadium first. They're coming here second. So just like it was with OU, we went out to Norman, which was awesome. I was there. That was something. Then they came here, albeit it wasn't the next year, was it? It was the following year. Was it the following year?
It was the next year.
Was it the very next year?
They were consecutive seasons,
yes. That's the way it should be. What do you got? I know we have the Boise thing, which I'm rooting for, but...
It would be LSU.
Oh, that's interesting.
Man,
night game at LSU.
Yeah, and
let's do that.
I can make a trip to New Orleans.
Do that.
I could,
I'm in.
I mean, damn it. I could cross off a lot of things.
Good call. I like where your head's at, Tom. I wouldn't mind going up to play Penn State, but they're out in the sticks. I got nothing going on out there.
Maybe there's some Quaker country and get some arts and crafts.
We could look at the Joe Paterno statue. Oh, no, we can't. I'm sorry. So
Joe wasn't looking at a lot of things
No,
either.
He was ignoring him. I wonder, okay, so you want LSU. I want home and home. Well, we already have the Notre Dame thing coming up, which is good, and I've been there. But that's Michigan we've done.
Yeah, I get it. I haven't been here for those traditions, but we've seen
You're not as old.
We did play LSU back in the day.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And Bowden said whoever won the game, that was who he's going to coach in the future.
Yeah, well, we beat Jerry DiNardo's team.
Yeah.
And there was a great fight on the sidelines. Big fight. I used to like the big fights. I wouldn't mind going and playing Oklahoma State.
Okay,
that'd be kind of fun. Yeah, a little T-Boone.
Well, we played them, not there, but we've played
them
in
I'm
recent
talking about
seasons.
home and home. I'd like to see that stadium.
Yeah.
Oregon.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm in on the Oregon thing.
Oh, with the Willie element?
Yeah.
Ooh, buddy.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? Oregon.
That would be
there at that stadium.
Bloodthirsty.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We're angry about the Rose Bowl. They're angry about Taggart.
Yeah. Come get it. Okay, Oregon. Sorry. We got meandering. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
And Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
Get ready for more fun this summer with a new Bad Boy Mower and free SeaWorld or Busch Garden tickets. Let's go! Buy a Bad Boy Mower this spring and own the best-built, most powerful zero-turn mower on the planet. And you'll get free tickets to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens. Have more fun all the way around this summer. Drive away with a Bad Boy Mower and take off to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens for the time of your life. Make your country Bad Boy country.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
And then you decided to sell it. And I always thought you should keep it.
You know, I wanted to keep it.
It was perfect. It was perfect. Why wouldn't you keep that?
It wasn't the right color.
It was perfect. I tell everybody to this day, you should have seen the other one. You should have seen the other one. It was incredible. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Jeff, email this from Matt. And it's fitting, given that I did see a friend of mine in his column on War Chant. I don't know if that was from today or where that was from, but Corey wrote something about Pruitt's comments recently at the spring game.
Yeah, that came out today.
We get an email from Matt earlier in the week, and I meant to address this yesterday, but I'll read it now. Because I had an opinion on what I read that Pruitt said, and I actually read that over the weekend and thought, oh, that's special. As UT is the secondary team that I follow, it's quite fascinating to witness the complete contrast between Pruitt and Taggart. I mean, total night and day. If you thought Jimbo was intense, this guy is a less folksy version of Jimbo, as I'm sure you're already aware of. I watched the UT spring game yesterday, and he was yelling at the players, and at halftime he was interviewed and blasted the effort. Then after the game, he took a shot at the fans for a lack of attendance, which, by the way, was actually an impressive 60,000. My dad is a diehard fan and already dislikes Pruitt, calls him a classless jerk. I posted below a good summary by the Rivals.com UT site writer as to why Pruitt's comments were not warranted. And I will summarize what was written there. He put in a piece from that column in which the writer has been covering Tennessee for 24 years. He's lived in Knoxville his entire life. He goes on to say that, look, one thing everybody knows about Tennessee fans is they show up. That's what they do. They show up. And he goes on to say that he was very impressed by the amount of people that were at the spring game, and notes that it's the, 4 strength coaches in 4 years, as well as 3 defensive line coaches, 3 wide receiver coaches, 3 OCs, 3 offensive line coaches, 3 DB coaches in 3 years. Talked about the 4 coaches that have come through Knoxville as of late. So did Corey in his piece. Noted that if you're a Tennessee fan, you've had a rough go. In the last decade, you're a game under 500. 62-63.
It's hard to do when you schedule, a few cupcakes every year.
62-63 over the last decade. They've lost one more game than they won. That is incredible. And I was just thinking about where they were 20 years ago, where they were when I drove out to Tempe, Arizona to watch Florida State choke away a game that, frankly, they would have won by 3 touchdowns had Chris Winkie not been hurt. But also if they had just called a better game. That's another story for another time. But T. Martin got that national championship, and the irony there was, of course, Peyton Manning never did. And he was the better player, the all-time great player, the better quarterback, that's for sure. So back to this email that Matt sent us, and he was saying, look, been down a tough, dark road the last decade if you're a Tennessee fan. And the last thing on earth you need to hear from your new head coach is a questioning of a fan base that had 95,000 people show up during a 4-8 game season. Tennessee went 4-8, had 95,000 people show up during a 4-game losing streak last year. Turn your attention from the fans there, Jeremy, and let's fix the on-the-field product. Now, he goes on to say, granted, this is what UT probably needs right now, just like we needed it after Bowden here. Butch Jones was a guy who played music at practice, Jeff. At the same time, Taggart is probably the guy we need right now post-Jimbo. So it's going to be fascinating to watch the direction both of these programs take over the next 4 years. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that email. It's a good email, and it's interesting food for thought. I don't know. I wasn't in Knoxville, and I don't know how Butch was outside of the fact that you noted he played music and was a player's coach. Butch struck me as a buffoon, frequently saying things like, we're champions in life in the midst of losing streaks, which not what you do. Then again, from afar, one could look in and say, hey, Jimbo Fisher had an excuse every week during the course of last season's disaster that seemed to make little or no sense. And I'm sure we were the laughingstock, much the way Tennessee was under Butch Jones, for much of the country, watching a proud program with immense talent play to 35-3 against Boston College, amongst other notable performances. There is something to the kinds of coaches you bring in and when you bring them in. Tennessee's situation is fascinating because Georgia right now in that division is clearly the best team and in the best position to dominate the rest of that division moving forward for the foreseeable future. Florida is in the midst of an overhaul after a devastatingly bad season and in need of desperately turning around recruiting. I'm not so sure that's happening right now. Obviously, Willie's got things flowing here, so this will be interesting to watch that dynamic with Florida in the East of the SEC and where they get back to. Tennessee is hoping to do that. We'll see. Jeremy Pruitt, there's no doubt, as a defensive coordinator, can coach, but there's a lot more to being a head coach than there is being a coordinator. So how he makes that transition into being a head coach will be fascinating. I think the other reason it'll be fascinating is we got to know Jeremy Pruitt here very briefly. A lot of people know what Jeremy Pruitt's like. I said on the satellite show on SiriusXM that I was surprised he was given that job. Tennessee may have fallen into the right selection during a clown-like search, but I'm not so sure because he lacks, for lack of a better term, a level of professionalism and refinement needed to speak to the masses like head coaches frequently are asked to do. don't picture Jeremy Pruitt waxing eloquently about his program and the direction they're moving in from the dais all that often.
Well, the problem is, and this is where when Willie came here, I was like, good, we have a different pitch than some of our rivals do for a lot of different reasons. The SEC East has Kirby Smart, who's a Saban guy, and their rival that they are locked into play every year is Saban, who is, the same guy that Pruitt wants to be. So you're not really telling anybody anything different than they're going to hear from other programs that are ahead of you. So there's a really tough part. So that's where he has to hire good assistants, and every head coach has to hire good assistants. But to argue for Pruitt for just a moment, think about it this way. So he comes up through the college ranks, plays under or coaches under Saban. So he knows that way works. Jimbo hires him over here. He has a ton of talent to work with, but he thinks that the same kind of pattern or blueprint works because Jimbo follows exactly everything Saban does. Then he leaves here after a season to go play for Mark Richt. Different style, doesn't work. Has to go back to Alabama. That works again. I could understand why he's just taking the playbook and putting his name on the front page instead of Nick Saban's name.
No question that's what you hired when you hired him, that you brought in a Saban disciple, and thus you're going to get those coaching principles. Where these guys are missing it, and where Jimbo Fisher was missing it, is that while you can certainly model the methods to which you build your program, recruit players, and install offensive and defensive game plans, and maybe win and replicate some facets of what Nick Saban does, you still have to be who you are, all the while taking the tutelage and the principles you learned from him and applying them to what you want to do, what your vision is. Maybe many of those things are in line with that aforementioned coach, and why wouldn't they be? He's won a gazillion games and done a great job. But people will begin to see through your message and what you're doing, and as opposed to what you're saying, the second you prove to be disingenuous or you are attempting to be something you're not. And that's where, when you get from outside of who you are and you don't recognize maybe what it is that makes you unique and utilize that as best you can in a way that's different from Nick Saban, then you're lost. You don't really have anything but the Saban blueprint, except for you're not Nick Saban.
Well, yeah, I think people would turn on you if you have back-to-back 3+ lost seasons. I think that's when they turn their back on you more than the genuine nature of the message. They're hiring a mercenary, and to argue for the Sabanites for a second, Jimbo did win a title in 29 straight, and Kirby, in all likelihood, should have won last year, and people would think, the next year or two he's going to compete for yet another national title. So the blueprints worked outside of Nick's
But I often think that when you listen to Kirby Smart, and I did over the weekend after their spring game, he's got a different personality. Now, he's a hard ass. I'm not saying
close
he's jovial.
Practice, change laws in the state of Georgia for privacy rights.
Fine with all of that, which, by the way, I've been saying they needed to do in Athens for a long time. They arrest players for every small infraction. Yeah. They need to stop doing that if they want to win games. I get where he's coming from there. You're trying to dictate terms to authorities. I got you. You're being a bully like Saban is and like all these coaches who utilize Saban's principles do. But you can still be you. You can still have fun. You can still be whatever it is that uniquely makes you different from Nick Saban. And to be sure, they all have a quality because they're not Nick Saban. That's different from Nick Saban. Use it. Jimbo, to me, was at his best. We saw him at his best when, sure, he exercised all of those things that he saw as winning football and ways to do business, if you will, in the recruiting world and the hiring world and practice and how you put together practices and the pace in which you practice and the utilization of time and all that. All of those were Saban principles. But he was at his best when he also revealed that he was different from Nick, that he would ham it up with you and he would talk football because he was a guy who loved football, and he would sit there and have a conversation. When things were best here, he did things different from Saban, at least in the way that he revealed some of who he was.
Yeah.
And you got to be mindful of that of all times, because I really think when push came to shove, when things started to go south for Jimbo, all he did was further revert back to what he thought Saban would do and not listen at all to his own instincts. He didn't decide to go down a different path and say, okay, well, listen, this is no longer working. I should maybe utilize this. These are things that I like. These are things that are more of who I am, because there was another side of Jimbo Fisher that had nothing to do with Nick Saban, and it was a likable side that just disappeared. Now, I don't know. I mean, we can get into the weeds here. Was that the divorce? Was that any number of things? I don't know. But once that was gone, and all he did was, again, continually repeat what he had heard Saban say and do things he thought Saban would do, and nobody believed that was born from something that he came up with, an idea that he had, or something that could connect player to coach. They were done with it. They were done with it. The message had run stale. Now losing was a part of it, and there was no indication that your coach was a human being.
This is true. I also think he deviated from Saban in that he wouldn't allow for true competition on the roster. He would stick with some guys because he was afraid of other players making mistakes that the starters were making. And then also, if you were a made man from the 2013 team, as the story goes, in 2014, there were allowances made. The standard changed.
Yeah, no, I think there are a lot of things at play there. I don't know, not being in that locker room, we can only guess from afar. We heard the reports that came out of there was that he was inconsistent, that he was all bark and no bite, and that once players figured out that he wasn't actually going to discipline them, then they just decided to do whatever they wanted to do.
Which is different than Tuscaloosa.
Certainly it would seem to be. Right, I agree with that.
I mean, he benched his quarterback and brought in – that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't give him as much credit for that as other people do. He had no choice. They were going to lose by 3 touchdowns. He had to go bring in Tua.
Would Jimbo have? No.
Probably not, because he wouldn't have been willing to do something Saban does do on a regular basis, which is think for himself and be who he is and recognize in the moment what it's going to take to win a football game. You can do things the way Nick Saban does them. There's nothing new under the sun. NFL coaches steal from each other all the time. But I also think that you run your operation, your program, your business the way you want to run it while utilizing others' principles that you know to be sound and true. You still have to be who you are. And I think that's where Jimbo lost his way, and then he got obviously bitter, and he dug in further. And that is a trait we see with a lot of coaches. They dig in because they know no other way, and they figure if the ship's going down, it's going down the way I want it to go down, and nobody can tell me a damn thing. That's probably not a good idea either. That's not a good way. But Bowden did that too, in a friendlier way, but that's how Bowden did it too at the end.
Friendlier, yes, to the cameras, yes.
Yeah, to the cameras, right. But he was an angry, bitter man at the end and didn't want to be told to fire his son, didn't want to be told the changes needed to be made, didn't want to be told the time was nigh. And he dug in, and that's never a good look. Pruitt, to me, we'll see. I think he's off to a poor start. The last thing you can do when you come into Tennessee after they just went 4-8, and are a game under 500 over the last decade and still produce 95,000 a game, is question fan loyalty. You start so far off on the wrong foot, and it shows you have no thoughts of your own. That's just a thing somebody would say if they were trying to be Nick Saban.
This is true.
That's just, you know what I mean?
But perhaps you can method act your way into winning some games because it's worked for others.
You can method act to winning some games but not sustain.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Kirby Smart sustains at Georgia. We know Jimbo didn't end up sustaining at Florida State. We'll see. That's all to be proven. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Laces Paint and Body Shop. The work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Laces Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale. Don't miss great Buy One, Get One Free deals throughout the store. So many BOGOs, we can't name them all. Start the season right with savings on quality products from Scott's, Roundup, Ortho, and more. There are so many BOGOs and so many ways to save. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale ends Monday. Offers valid at participating stores. Buy select item and get designated item free. See store for details.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio. Hey, to follow up on that last talking point, which is a fun one. Winning solves most things, so if Tennessee wins some games, they'll all forgive that he took a shot at the fans as his first action at UT. It's just bizarre. Not a good choice. But I will say this: what I do like is this grand experiment, and to follow up on Matt's email, which I think pointed this out, is that Willie Taggart is completely different from Jimbo Fisher, completely different from Nick Saban, completely different from Jeremy Pruitt. And, you know, that's true, and it's refreshing, and we're right now willing to take that in and celebrate that around every turn because it is fun, and it is something to be excited about, and it is different, and it doesn't feel hollow or angry or, I guess, I mean, to me, everything was so conformist. Everything was exactly the way that you knew some other guy would do it. I like that this guy is kind of clearly doing the things that he thinks are going to strike the right nerve, right? And they feel like they're from his heart. They feel like they're something from born out of his childhood, right?
Yeah, it's the tone of his voice when he's answering questions about, well, what do you think about this? And he goes, well, I think that, and then he goes into his answer, which is a little bit different than, you know, everything's got
right,
you know,
monotone.
Well, that's from page 3 of what I should say in this moment's binder here.
Or I've been given a talking point by my guy, who's also Saban's guy, and he tells me to say this if I'm trying to get this across, or I want this.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah,
perhaps that could
this
be.
This doesn't
it.
feel like that's going on right now. This feels like he's giving you an answer.
No, and yeah, we're all hopeful that it works, but if it doesn't, we'll long for somebody who's more robotic.
Maybe. I think what we'll long for, certainly, we'll always long for the wins, and at the end of the day, it is how you'll be judged, whether you're a nice guy or not. You got to win games. And if you win a lot of games and you're not considered a nice guy, everybody will ignore those foibles, and they'll say, that's okay, he wins a lot of games. See Nick Saban. If you don't, and you have those personality defects, if you will, it is over in a hurry. Because everybody comes out of the woodwork. They've wanted to stab you all along, and now they have their opportunity, and they can do so unfettered by concerns of backlash. You have no more leverage. I got that. Now, where we are, though, while embracing the fun-loving nature of Willie and his staff and the things that he wants to do, are at an interesting crossroads because we are at a point where we do have, right here in the South, an example of two guys who are completely doing it a different way. One has already succeeded, and we're trying to catch him, and we've hired our own good times guy. It's funny that Clemson's in our own division, doing it the way that they do it, and now we've adapted the same
So
to some degree, I should say.
So somebody on the Saban tree is a Sabanite or a systems coach, and this would be a good times guy?
Good times guy. This is a good times guy, buddy. This is a player's coach. That's what you would say.
Sure.
This is a guy that players like Ernie Sims and others would talk about when they saw Dabo. Man, I want to play for that guy. Players are going to run through fire for that guy. Look at the fun they have in that locker room. Man, that's neat. And we described that, as it turned out, kind of as a comedy, as a bit of a joke, as something to mock and point a finger at. It turned out it worked, and I was wrong. And he wins, and he's now the standard in the ACC. Everybody's chasing him. I don't think that the university said, we need to get a guy like him. I think the university felt absolutely burned by the previous administration, the previous coaching staff and its leader, and thought, give me anything other than that. Give me something that differs greatly from that ridiculousness. And you know, we've all said this, too. I was talking with Bud one time about this. Not everything has to be so laborious. Why is everything so damn hard? Certain things are really easy. Being cordial to somebody that is technically your boss seems pretty standard in the workplace, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, these things all add up.
I agree. Everything's not a referendum either. There's, you know, on both sides. So I think the problem is, in this day and age, just to argue for the systems guys for just a moment, while admitting, before I even go there, that I'd rather have this. If I succeed with this type of coach, that's so much more fun than succeeding with the other type of coach.
But I think there is a system in place that he's operating from under. It's just a different way of expressing it. I do think there's a methodology here. I don't want anybody to get confused
it's not
by that.
willy-nilly.
No, it's
Pun
absolutely
intended.
pretty funny. No, there is a approach that he's using that is calculated.
Yes, I agree. I also think the culture that we're in, you know, Jimbo was kind of outing himself in this sense. You know, he talked about how kids today, they don't focus as much because they listen to the clutter. Well, listen, we haven't had a whole lot of head coaches around here. In fact, we've had 2 in the last however many decades.
105.
Yeah. 105 decades.
105 decades, yeah. I believe that's when football started.
Boy, were Jimbo's ears, rabbit ears, when it came to criticisms and definitive referendum-like statements. He paid attention to all that stuff.
Oh, don't I know it?
Hasn't there been? I mean, you guys have talked about that on headlines a little bit, haven't you? That's not a secret.
But see here again. This was a classic.
He's not following his own instruction here, so he was incapable of handling this day and age's criticism, which is ridiculous. I agree with Jimbo, but he couldn't put it aside and say, well, guess what? I'm the head coach at Florida State, and this is, you know, Peon Media Guy 1.
But that's where he was a hypocrite, because
Correct.
Here's the thing. It's not just that he was saying that to his players, Tom. It's that the hero, the guy that he modeled his program after, doesn't hear it.
Correct.
And doesn't care
he
about it.
He is actually insulated from
Nick
it.
Saban is insulated from it. If it gets back to him, it's only because they feel like they could use it in a way, or he can create an opportunity by which he makes somebody an example. But not because the guy is actually on his computer looking at a message board.
Right.
Or having his wife tell him something the afternoon talk show host may have said.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he didn't even model.
Right. Everything doesn't have to be serious.
No.
And if you're going to say ignore the clutter,
you gotta ignore the clutter.
Yeah.
I don't think Willie, I mean, my guess is, you know, Willie has gone to great lengths to introduce himself to a lot of people who were kind of left out in the cold.
If he's reading his clippings, he's very happy right now.
Well, he would be. But he's the first to say, if I lose that first game or if I lose a bunch of games, it's going to change. So having an understanding of where you sit, that right now is the honeymoon phase, and everybody loves the new guy, unless you immediately offend all of them by ripping them after 60,000 people show up to a spring game. Jeremy Pruitt's dumbass. But
imagine if Willie did that, you know, because we're setting records here for our spring game.
Yeah.
Well, I sure would like to see Doak full.
Yeah. Instead, he went and slapped 5 with the fans and thanked them for coming, like a human being. But what I think is interesting is, I mean, again, I think that guy is just going to continue down the path of, look, this doesn't have to be rocket science. We don't have enough time with these kids to do all the things we'd like to do, and it's not hard to be nice to people. that is a refreshing approach. That even if you're a systems guy, I think you can incorporate. I think that you can be a hard ass about certain things and decide that we're going to use Saban principles and just adhere to certain other standards that are pretty normal in the workplace.
Yes, there have been strict teachers in our lifetimes that were sweethearts once you got through the outer gruff.
Exactly right. And those were my favorite kind because they had rules and they knew that secretly you needed to be disciplined and probably wanted to be, but they also revealed that they wanted to see you succeed. They wanted it to be, at the end of the day, something you could do and succeed at through their tutelage.
That's the bizarre thing, though, about the previous era. And I get it. People are tired of talking about that.
No, this is not an elongated rip fest. This is an observation of style.
Well, he's walking off the field in 2014, arm in arm with Devonta Freeman.
Right,
Ryan Stork was here instructing players on his bye week. Jameis has been back a ton for Jimbo Fisher. He's been very close, traveling. He and Xavier Rhodes have bonded over the Kids First Fund.
Right.
So there is a clear line of delineation.
That's what I'm saying. There was a guy inside there who didn't do everything exactly like Nick Saban did. There was a guy who revealed some of his own personality, and it went away. And I don't know exactly when that happened.
Well, it was after 2013, I can tell you that, because Matthew Thomas and him aren't going to be walking off the field in College Station anytime soon, or you know what I mean?
Well, they ought to be, because Matthew Thomas, good Lord. Anyhow.
Well, how about Sassy's a bad example for anybody. But DeMarcus Walker, I wouldn't think is going to be flying out to College Station, walking off the field after the Clemson game this year with Jimbo.
I don't think it was a good sign when Terrence Brooks, who never played for Willie Taggart, tweeted out that while I won a national championship, would never give that back, and enjoyed my time at Florida State, sure would have been nice to play for Willie Taggart. I mean, Jesus, man. Doesn't that reveal?
Better chance. Winning the lottery, or Sean McGuire will travel up to College Station to hang out with Jimbo Fisher?
I don't know. I think Sean will probably get along with Jimbo, and that Jimbo...
Not as a GA. Of his own free accord.
Yeah.
He's traveled to go watch a Texas A&M game, and he's going to sport an Aggies shirt.
You know what's interesting about this, too? And I'm going to flip it for a second where it sounds like I'm being really harsh. I ran into a guy. I think I told you this. I guess what I'm getting at, I wonder what Jimbo, the assistant at LSU, was like under Nick Saban. Because there's always a good cop, bad cop thing. And if Saban's the bad cop at all times, was Jimbo's demeanor very different as a coordinator than it was here as a head coach? The answer seems to be, I know he was a coordinator here, but he was in line to become the next head coach, and everybody knew that. He was brought in to be the next head coach.
He was pretty chummy, though, at that time.
He was chummy at that time, and then that changed when he had to be the head man, as it would for anybody who then takes over as the boss. Responsibilities change. Now you're in charge for all of it, and you take on more responsibility, and thus your time is taken from you, and everything has to be succinct, and you don't have time to be chummy. I get that. But I ran into a guy, was it the ACC meetings? Was I with you? I don't remember where. Oh, no, I know what it was. I was on vacation with my family. We were at a beach resort somewhere, and I came.
Oh, well.
Anyhow, I got into the elevator to go back up to the room and get something and go back down onto the beach. And I was wearing just an FSU T-shirt. Yeah, FSU T-shirt, like an FSU cap or something FSU.
Doubling down.
I'm sure I was. I've got more FSU workout clothes and things like that. But I was running into the hotel, got into the elevator, and there was this guy that walked in at the same time I did. You know, it's always awkward. It's just two dudes sitting on an elevator, don't know each other from Adam, just kind of. And I was going up to the 15th floor, and I think he was going up to like the 18th floor, so we were going to be there a while. And he glanced over, and I thought it was awkward because he was kind of staring at me. And
hey, good looking.
and I kind of, well, that's weird. And he looked back over at me, goes, hey, you an FSU guy? I go, yeah. He goes, did you play there? I go, no, I never played at FSU, no. And he goes, are there any other FSU people here? Like, he's asking a lot of FSU questions. And I said,
the hell's your problem, sir?
I said, no, why? And he goes, oh, I just wanted to know if Jimbo Fisher were here or what was, and I said, oh, no, I'm just here with my family on vacation. He goes, oh, I played for Jimbo. And he's Florida State's coach now. This is a number of years ago. And I said, I go, yeah. I said, I talk to Jimbo all the time. I'm in the media. And I explained to him what I do. And he goes, oh, that's great. When you see him, tell him, and I can't remember his name now, that I said hello, and he gave me his name. He goes, I was a backup quarterback there for a while. I actually switched to tight end, really didn't play all that much, but I was on the team for all 4 years. And he gave me his name. I looked him up, turned out to be true and all of that. He said he loved him. He said, oh, man, he was great to play for. He was a lot of fun because that was tough back then. You know, Nick could be tough, but Jimbo was great. I loved him. Just tell him so-and-so said hello. So there was a different guy. We know that. I wonder if his personality was vastly different as an assistant coach under Saban when he had to be good cop.
All right, guys, I know he's putting you in a position to fail. So we're going to Shanghai old Nick here.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that phrase.
Him and Rex Ryan.
Oh, that was the best. Anyhow, all right. We are in an interesting spot right now to kind of do the grand experiment, right? We got a good times guy, Tom. I call him the good times guy. Boy, good times with good time guys when you're winning. Those are really good times.
Those are very good times.
Those are much better good times
That's on
than
the
other
deck.
good times. That is on the deck good times.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
USA.com and start packing.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale. Don't miss great Buy One, Get One Free deals throughout the store. So many BOGOs, we can't name them all. Start the season right with savings on quality products from Scott's, Roundup, Ortho, and more. There are so many BOGOs and so many ways to save. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale ends Monday. Offers valid at participating stores. Buy select item and get designated item free. See store for details.
I'm Michael Blank, an attorney with the Personal Injury Law Office of Jose R. Fernandez. If you get into an accident, call 1-855-HOSE-305. That's 1-855-HOSE-305. We don't get paid until you do. Se habla español. Offices Tallahassee and Miami.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. It's Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. You're the kind of person who believes the best deals on cars are when you buy a pre-owned car that just happens to be in mint condition. Well, right now is the time. Kraft Nissan is the place for you to look at your next car. Here's the deal. Kraft Nissan has changed over our entire rental fleet. So all of the cars that were in rental fleet last year are now priced to sell. These cars are Nissan certified and come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile Nissan warranty, plus Kraft Nissan's exclusive lifetime warranty. Our certified pre-owned vehicles also come with 24-hour roadside assistance, free Carfax history report, free trial of XM Sirius Radio. And the best part of all, Nissan gives you a $450 rebate. When is the last time you heard of a manufacturer giving you a rebate on a pre-owned vehicle? Never. Choose from Altimas, Rogues, Maximas, Pathfinders, or Titan trucks. And I promise you, you will not find a better price on a practically new car. Plus, all Nissan certified pre-owned vehicles qualify for new car financing rates. So stop by Kraft Nissan today, because these low-mileage certified pre-owned vehicles will go fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always. Don't miss anything. Hey, sometimes you do. When that happens, just remember you can get caught up all 3 hours posted every day upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Watch us perform the show right now. If you go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. WTSM app for your mobile devices. Also, by the way, failed to mention on Twitter, if you go and follow at 979 ESPN Radio, you can see the show periscoped as well. So lots of ways, lots of avenues by which to keep up. I mentioned it in passing before, but I'll bring it up again here now. We've talked a lot about the draft over the last few days. Tomorrow is the draft party. We usually have one every year, and this year's no different. Looking forward to it. We're going to go over to Bumpa's here on Capitol Circle. It's the old Calico Jacks, if you're wondering where that is. You know, they've only been open a short time, and the food there is spectacular. Plenty of televisions, wide-ranging choices of beer and the like. They have liquor as well, and a nice outdoor deck with TVs to boot. And they'll be doing $3 bottles, domestic bottles, and 75-cent wings. So you're good to go. The specials will be good, but you're going to want to try everything. Moreover, plenty of TVs to hang out and watch at your favorite team draft the wrong guy. Yeah, that's what you get, right?
That's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, not me and not you, Tom, because we root for the same team. But I had Gene Williams reach out to me. I forget we do this every year, and there's always a number of Noles that we think will get selected, and what round and how that will work. And obviously, it's pretty easy when you think of Derwin James and where he'll go. It gets a little bit more difficult when you get beyond Derwin James. Frankly, it changes dramatically, because then there's great debate with everybody else. Everybody from Josh Sweat to Derek Nottie, Tavares McFadden, Auden Tate, Ryan Izzo, Matthew Thomas. I'll note in here that I think, and I said this, and I don't know if it went on to warchant.com or not with my selections, but I added to the number of players that are draft eligible and that might very well be taken by saying that I think that Ryan Green is going to get a good look in the 7th round from clubs, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in Tampa. There seems to be real interest in Ryan Green after that 40 time and after his workouts. And Ryan Green's a guy we're all rooting for, right? He was a selfless player. He was a guy that was willing to go wherever Jimbo asked him to move to. Never really got utilized in any way. Always seemed to be on the periphery, but had ability and showed flashes every time he got a chance. I mean, every time you saw that kid run the ball, you'd think, that guy would start at a lot of places. He was buried behind elite talent here. Sometimes I thought he was underutilized, but we root for Ryan Green, and if he gets drafted, that's a cool story. Talking about sticking with it.
Yeah, man, I've been on Team Green since the night he came in for Jameis, or the night that Jameis went off in Pittsburgh when you were there. Mm-hmm. But that's been a long time running on Team Green, and I hope that, screw it. If we didn't get the most out of him, so be it. Then maybe he gets the most money out of his potential career as payment for not getting time here in Florida State.
Well, also, by the way, might that be a bit of a theme, much to the angst of Florida State fans everywhere, which is, it could be wholly regrettable to watch some guys get drafted or go higher than you maybe suspect that they should based on what they did or did not accomplish here, and or others that maybe fall a little bit further, and where that sits in terms of a bad taste in your mouth or not regarding how they were used or how they were not used, what we got out of them as former 4- and 5-star players. Josh Sweat's an interesting character that fits under that umbrella immediately. He's the first guy that I think of because Derwin James is going to go in the first round. I could argue that there's a little frustration as to what we didn't get out of Derwin James being what he is as an athlete and what I suspect he can be at the next level. But since he's going to go in the first round and since he twice led the team in tackles, I guess you can't say that it was empty. You know what I mean? We did get something out of Derwin James, just the seasons didn't go the way we wished that they had. Josh Sweat, on the other hand, from the standpoint of being a pure pass rusher, you could argue we got little to nothing out of. And I think originally the discussion there centered around, well, he had an awful knee injury that may have affected upwards of 2 years of his career in coming all the way back. He was effective against the run. He set the edge, but he was only occasionally able to show flashes in the passing game as a pass rusher. And yet, when he worked out, he wowed some folks. That doesn't remove two things. The film, which tells them that he lacks a quick get-off, off the line of scrimmage. You need to be able to get off that line of scrimmage to get to the passer quickly, an explosiveness that I worry Chubb hasn't shown either. And then the other thing is that there is baggage that remains from the knee injury that a lot of teams are concerned by. That said, Josh Sweat may go second round. Cowboys are very interested in him amongst other teams. If he goes, God forbid he goes late first, which isn't going to happen. But if he goes early second, I think there'll be a lot of frustrated Seminoles. I do.
I don't know if that's going to change his production at the next level because my number one question would be, does he care about football? I don't know that he does. I don't know that he cares enough. I mean, he's going to be useful no matter what when you take him because he'll be able to stop the run. He'll be able to, plug the gaps and set the edge if you need him to do that part of the game. But if you're drafting him thinking you're going to get 10 sacks a year eventually, I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I think he's just going to be more of the same player that we saw here, just in the NFL.
But he showed an explosiveness that we hadn't seen in those workouts. Now, that's different. Those are workouts.
He
Those
may
are
be a
individual
combine
workouts.
warrior, yeah.
He could be. But nobody would have guessed he could run like that. Nobody would have seen that ability to explode out of the starter's gate, which is what you could say then is akin to coming off the line of scrimmage. But then again, you see guys do amazing things at combines that don't always translate to great football.
Well, okay, he flashed in some moments here, but I think drafting him by itself would not disappoint me about what we did or did not get out of Josh Sweat. It would be production at the next level.
Yeah,
that's the point that I would get angry.
Because
then I'd ask, what the hell are we asking our defensive ends to do? Which actually was a point of contention here. Now
yes,
that
it was.
Revisiting this particular position group.
Well, Brad Lawing got straight angry, furious at one point about what they were asking the ends to do.
Contain versus attack.
And
whatever.
what he thought they should be doing. Yes, that's true. That's an actual argument that occurred from the coach with the head coach.
The Miami game.
Well, more than once. I'm told more than once.
Well, somebody might have been sitting behind the FSU bench for the Miami game, and somebody might have,
Oh, there were some F-bombs being dropped there. Yeah, real frustration. So Josh Sweat's a guy. Derek Nottie, 3rd or 4th round is my guess. That was my prediction. I don't think he goes before that. I said 4th round for the purposes of the war chant thing, but he could go 3rd, and I'm rooting for that. I like Derek Nottie.
He's a good player.
He's a good player. Funny story later in the hour about Derek Nottie and things he was asked at the Combine. Tavares McFadden, great disappointment. His final season, he was terrible. Really, everything about that season was a disappointment for McFadden. His technique has always been a bit of a problem, it more so a year ago. But he had one really productive year here. and that body type suggests that he certainly is going to get drafted. He ran an incredibly slow 40. We know that. But he did run the drills exceptionally well, and that got lost because of the slow 40 time. So it wasn't as if it was a complete lost cause in Indianapolis. I don't know if he was able to make great strides in his personal workouts or on pro day, but I projected him to go in the 4th round, 4th or 5th round.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I would think the reaction that we're going to get by the time it gets to the weekend is, oh, man, he hasn't been picked already? I think that's what's going to happen when his name comes across the board. If we're doing chores or we're out and about, and then you just look at, because by the time you get to the weekend, the draft is on TV too.
Yeah.
So you're watching something else, be it the NBA playoffs, hockey playoffs.
Whatever it might be, right.
And then the draft is kind of tucked over here. It's on the 20-inch television, not the 60-inch television.
They're late in the 5th, and they still haven't taken so-and-so.
But it's hard when you look at that 20-inch television when it says the pick is in to not at least stay there until you see a name. And you might forget the name, but you might see McFadden and go, oh, God, the 5th round.
Yeah,
goodness.
Yeah, I could see that. Auden Tate's an interesting guy. If you're going to try to win this contest where you project draft people, players, Florida State players, you got to get the Auden Tate pick right. Because Auden Tate, if you go, I looked at 20 mocks. We're geeks about this. We love to look at our friend, Charlie Campbell's mock, but we go to NFL.com, and I'll go anywhere. Anywhere there's a mock, I'll read it. I don't have to necessarily put stock in it. I don't necessarily respect the person doing it, but I'll put them all together and decide, this guy's been solid for years, does his research. I've learned enough from him to know that he's at least not just whimsically throwing out around in a player in a write-up. He's hearing from actual NFL scouts, talent directors, those kinds of things. Auden Tate is pretty polarizing because he's slow. For a wide receiver, he's slow. But the league has a history of your bigger receiver types, Anquan Boldin being one of them, that run slow times and then turn out to be really productive football players. And that's because it is the game of football and not track. So you can go and be productive. You can know how to use your big body in traffic. You can understand, the subtleties and some of the more tangible things that work for you to get open. That is to say, you're a meticulous route runner, whatever it might be that helps you overcome a deficiency and just pure speed. Auden Tate's a red zone target. Auden Tate's a big receiver. Auden Tate, his final season was very productive, and he was never fast. So if you're just looking at the tape and you're looking at production, you like Auden Tate. If you're in love with 40 times, you hate Auden Tate. So I think Auden Tate is going in the 3rd round, but I've seen late 2nd, or I've seen as late 5th for Auden Tate. So that's a pretty wide-ranging projection for a player like Auden Tate. I picked 3rd round.
Yeah, whatever happened to the possession receiver? That's the one thing. We used to categorize receivers as burners, possession receivers, combo, and those are usually your freaks. I mean, possession receivers still are quite valuable, are they not?
Oh, well, they're move-the-change guys, yeah, and they're...
I'm not a professional NFL talent evaluator, but I can tell you this, that when it comes to his route running game, he's polished.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like he doesn't know how to run routes and he's slow. He knows how to run routes. He's learned how to control his body. I mean, this is one of, in Lawrence Dossie's career here at Florida State, this is one of the better jobs of developing talent I think we've seen.
Yeah, because he did not know how to attack the ball.
No, he
at
didn't
its
know how to
highest
high point.
No, he struggled. He struggled with that early in his career. He certainly, and you noted it, I'll give you credit. That first open practice, man, he's gotten a lot better.
Well, we're all looking at Nooney and Gavin. I'm like, there's your guy. That's your guy.
Well, he had gotten polished. We all knew about Auden.
Yeah.
We just needed him to be what we had been begging him to be, and he became.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was in the Alabama game. I mean, there's an example for you. Playing against the best in the world, but your size is something that they cannot duplicate. So if you know how to use it right, there it is.
Ryan Izzo's a tight end that I had much greater hope for when the first time I ever saw him here. He's a guy that I thought could be, a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick and a really productive tight end. The league will look at Ryan Izzo as a blocker. They'll look at it. We classify tight ends a lot of times as, pass catchers and blockers and those kinds of things. I think, I don't think they're going to look at Ryan Izzo as an elite pass catcher. Certainly they're not. And I projected him going into the 6th round. So knock on wood, Ryan Izzo gets drafted in, that's all you can root for here. When you get down around the 6th round, you're just hoping that somebody's not an undrafted free agent.
It's time for the favorite example of somebody who ran a 40 time that you don't think is that slow. And this is to go back to the receivers for a second. I thought it was right. Now, Anquan, you pointed to, he turned into a tight end body type wise. But you look at Larry Fitzgerald and what he did in college. His body type didn't scream possession receiver. It screamed freak.
No, yeah.
He ran a 4.63.
Right.
Tate is a 4.69.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be Larry, but take my point. When you think Larry Fitzgerald, the first thing you don't think about is the fact that he's slow. You think about his route running, his body control. He's all over the field. He's a great blocker.
Fluidity.
Yeah.
I love the way he runs. Yeah.
You would think he runs something more like a 4.52 or 4.48, something like that, given how explosive he can be on the field, if not actually straight ahead fast.
Look up Jerry Rice.
It's a 4.7. It's more 4.7 or higher.
Jerry Rice?
He was on the list of slow 40 times.
I was going to say, Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time. And, you have countless examples of this. So it's good for you to point that out. By the way, Ryan Izzo, I have 6th round. Matthew Thomas. All right, here we go. So Matthew Thomas, guys, this is amazing to me. We all watched him play. And if you just look at sheer numbers, you'd say very productive. You'll see him 90 tackles, 88 tackles, all of that. He was never a dynamic player. Was never a dominant player. Was a 5-star guy. The college was hard for him in every way. And he's a guy whose career had bumps in the road, suspended more than once, off the field issues in terms of the weed, and getting suspended for he wasn't even in the bowl game and he's out there, all that stuff. Jimbo went to war for him. Felt like we had to have him going into that final year. But when you read, and I've read 8 separate scouting analysts' write-ups, draft projections on Matthew Thomas, the language used to describe him as a player, it's as if they personally hate him. It's unbelievable. I mean, and I'm not saying this as in I'm angry at them. There has had to have been a number of plays on film that scare scouts to death. Because when they talk about Matthew Thomas, they say effort is optional. I've seen that phrase used more than once. So you're looking for loafs, they found them all day long. We know of one specific.
Yeah.
But there are countless cases, apparently, where they turned on the tape. I know you're going to say North Carolina.
Yeah, but I'll also say McFadden and Sweat were not averse to the loafs, too.
Without question. Matthew Thomas, I think, made a living at loafing while he was here. Because, man, to read those write-ups, people are like, well, they want to spit on the tape. From beyond that. So when you're describing a guy that you could bring in with his body type, the long arms, he's got the speed and the size, you would think that they would want to find something because you could use him on special teams. You could use him in a lot of ways because he is kind of a freaky athlete. They're struggling to find a reason to take this guy. If he goes undrafted, I'm not going to be surprised. I said 6th round because I thought somebody would take a flyer, figuring maybe they can get effort out of him and or special teams work out of him. But if he goes undrafted, I'm not going to be shocked in the slightest. Effort optional, 0 technique, lost on play action, chases ghosts. All things that they talked about regarding Matthew Thomas. Not a heady player. Doesn't have a good feel for the game. 0 instincts. Terrible technique. Effort's optional. Well, by all means, Bob, let's draft that guy.
Can I be his defense attorney for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. A couple of points here, and I probably don't even need to go into detail on these points. Point number 1 would be Bill Miller. Point number 2 would be that defense with that coaching staff in general. Point number 3 would be adversity that he's never seen before in his life off the field and on the field at the same time. And point number 4 would be perhaps he's more of an edge-setting rusher type versus a true linebacker. He seemed to be pretty natural at getting after the quarterback or getting into the backfield early on in his career before he got hurt and became the unicorn. Maybe he can be taught. Maybe there can be technique that develops here. But
because you can't teach the body.
Well, but you're looking Look at Dontavius Jackson.
That body is a good body. Yeah.
Look at Dontavius Jackson.
I think he's going to be productive this year, by the way.
Seems like there was a renewed commitment to football, right?
I think so, right.
So I don't know that Matthew Thomas was alone. I know he wasn't in the loaf department, first of all. But second, I don't know that he was alone in thinking that I'm being led to slaughter here. And at some point, he just shuts down. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's human. And so if I have a 6th or a 7th round pick that I could take a chance on those measurables, well, as long as my interview doesn't prove to me that he doesn't care whether he's drafted or not, I'm going to take a shot with him because he can flash on film too. But we know that position group was awful in recruiting and awful in development. So sometimes you got to hold a coach accountable for what's wrong with a player too, I think.
I think it's a fair defense that you just made for Matthew Thomas. I think that they'll look at 6'3", 235. They'll look at a 41.5-inch vertical. They'll see that explosion. By the way, did you know that? 41.5-inch vertical, 4.28 in the 20-yard shuttle. Broad jump, 131 inches. Did a lot of things well. The 40 time is whatever at 235 pounds, 4.58, faster than Auden Tate. It's pretty amazing in that sense. What he plays, they're not real sure about because he's not a quintessential inside linebacker.
Right.
He's not a great outside linebacker. He's not a true off-the-edge guy. They don't know what he plays.
But I don't know what he was coached to do. And this was a thought not just with linebackers, but you know that there are stories from the practice fields where the defensive players felt like, what are we doing? You know the Josh Rosen talking point. Why would you call this against that look?
Did you see Josh Rosen?
I did indeed.
I loved it.
I think the defense had more than its fair moments or fair share of moments where they're going, wait a minute, this is what this team likes to do. Why are we running this? And at some point, they're tired of fighting with the coach or being in the wrong place, even though they're schemed to be in the wrong place, and they shut down. Our players shut down last year at various moments. Boston College being the headliner. I don't know that I can look at.
I think that's fair.
If we were 11-1, if we went 11-1 and that was the tape on him, then screw him. But we had a mess going on here, and I don't know that I can blame the kid completely.
Well, that's why I haven't getting drafted. A lot of these things all have UFA next to his name. I think he can go 6th round because they'll look at him as a will. And then I also think that he's a guy that, yes, you're right. I think in the system with Bill Miller and all of the things that we had wrong here, they're going to look at this and say, hey, look, there's a lot of concerns. His instincts are poor. He doesn't play with a competitive fire that we'd like to see. He's not a downhill player. He's there are a lot of things that they don't like about him, but there is a body type, a body frame that reeks of potential, and he's got a second gear. He actually covers pretty well.
Yeah.
These are things that will get you drafted, and I think he will.
Yes, he creates good. I think he creates decent angles when he's engaged. You saw him get downhill for a flash in the Michigan game in the Orange Bowl. Same stadium earlier that year. You saw him take out Kaya as a response for what the guys were doing to DeAndre Francois.
I'll be forever thankful.
There's heart in there. No, listen, for a 6th-round pick, I'm not saying because if he lived up to his potential athletically, you'd pick him in the 2nd or the 3rd round, right? Because of what he can do physically. Man, all I'm arguing for is let's take a flyer on this dude in the 6th.
Maybe he's good for us on special teams. I never like a linebacker to be described as lost on play action, chasing ghosts. That's a problem.
Our whole team was, but yeah.
Well, I think that's true, but that's a problem specific. That it got brought up several times. Hope he gets drafted. He's a player that we could potentially see be a special teams wonder and maybe get in on certain situations. And, you want these guys to have a career. We do. You want all these guys to have a career.
Well, it was like when the Bucs took Dakota Watson. I was like, yes.
Loved it.
Yes.
Well, and he made impacts on special teams. He did. He actually had a couple of good games at linebacker.
Yeah, he'd start 2 or 3 games a season for you, do attrition, and you didn't feel like you lost everything. But, he was good for a block a year on special teams. I mean, that's a valuable asset for that part in the draft.
Very. So those were my predictions. I also threw in, as I said, Ryan Green, I think, gets drafted by the Bucs or somebody in the 7th round or somebody. I think specifically the Bucs would take a flyer on Ryan Green. They've brought him in. They like him. You talk to people down there, they'll say, take a flyer on him in the 7th round. Nothing wrong with that. Again, special teams. Whatever it might be.
Well, if you have all those compensatory picks, too, it's like, all right, let's throw a dart at this guy. Let's throw a dart at that guy.
I'm getting excited about it, though. Again, a reminder, tomorrow, Bumpers, make sure you come out and join us. That draft begins at 8 o'clock. I think we'll get there, 7 o'clock right after the show. Good times, baby.
I think I believe about 60% of what I said is his defense attorney. Remember, I was hired to be his defense attorney.
Yeah.
Was it a compelling enough case?
Well, the first 4 things you laid out there were your most compelling. I think you've thought about that before. You led with Bill Miller, and I went, good point, man. He's got a good point right there. You could lead with all of our defensive players, but in particular our linebackers, you could say, Bill Miller, guys.
Well, I knew that would appeal to the judge, too,
Yeah,
across the glass.
I immediately went, ooh, didn't see that one coming. Good point. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
It's locally owned and features the best deli meats, cheeses, breads, and ingredients in the city. Enjoy daily specials and soups, salads, and wraps. There's something for everyone. Metro Deli offers online ordering for pickup or delivery and will cater your office breakfast or lunch too. Tallahassee's perfect lunch spot is Metro Deli. MetroDeliTally.com. That's MetroDeliTally.com.
Say what, it's the boy Big Snoop D-O-double-G. And I got a very special message to the players. That's right, to the males. Sexual performance issues are more common than you think. Maybe not for me, but probably for you. Over 25% of new ED cases are guys under 40. So what do you do if you suffer from ED? Go to 4hims.com, the wellness brand for men, so you can look good, feel good, and perform well in the bedroom. You dig? Thanks to science, E to the D can be optional. Say, man, don't be embarrassed. Guys should take better care of themselves. Look good, feel good, live good, like me. It's $5. $5 to try it out, man. And it comes right to your crib. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Go to forhims.com/love. FORHIMS.com/love. For him/love. Go.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This would be a no-brainer. The Commission on College Basketball recommended an end to the one-and-done rule, potential lifetime bans for rule breakers, and changes to the relationship between the NCAA and apparel companies. I wonder how much that committee got paid by the NCAA to conduct that study, because they could have called me, and I would have said those three things at the top of our conversation for next to nothing. That's the...
Yeah, but David Robinson was on this committee.
I'm just saying, man... Pretty damn easy. Those would be the thing that everybody had noted, things that people have pointed out in the past. The committee's report called the environment surrounding college basketball a toxic mix of perverse incentives to cheat. You don't say. That sounds like major college athletics in general. Said that the responsibility for the current mess goes all the way up to the university presidents. Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, this is easy.
Yeah, this is not educational. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying these are your findings, huh? How long did you research it?
Our focus has been to strengthen the collegiate model, not to move towards one that brings aspects of professionalism into the game.
And this is where they paid for these people's souls. That's what this is about.
Well, Mark Emmert said the NCAA appreciates the thorough review and comprehensive work done by the Commission on College Basketball. The Board of Governors and Division I Board of Directors will now review the independent commission's recommendations to determine the appropriate next steps. It was a 12-member commission formed in the wake of last fall's FBI investigation into corruption and fraud in college basketball and, of course, into college basketball recruiting. 10 people, as you know, were arrested in September, including officials at Adidas and assistant coaches for Arizona, Oklahoma State, Southern Cal, Auburn, NC State, and Kansas. In more recent court documents, our friend, former Louisville head coach Rick Pitino, also lost his job as a result of the probe, whose findings allege that the five-star recruit, Brian Bowen, received $100,000 to sign with Louisville.
Yes, it was taken from me. My job was taken from me.
The committee's report called the environment surrounding college basketball perverse, as we know, and thinks that one of the ways you're going to have to help this move forward is to end the one and done. And they believe the commission wants 18-year-olds, or I should say the commission has said that they would like 18-year-olds to again be eligible for the NBA draft, allowing a path to the pros directly out of high school. Of course, that rule was implemented, can you believe this, way back in 2006. And that was despite the straight from high school to the NBA home runs that were LeBron James and Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant. The most significant thing is that the dialogue is now open, said Hall of Famer David Robinson. All of these different constituents, the NBA, apparel companies, the NCAA, coaches and administrators, came to the table to discuss some of the matters which were in silos before. It opened up a tremendous dialogue. I think we all agree we have to do what's in the best interest of the kids. We have to give them options, open their eyes to the reality of the situation. What percent of you are going to play in the pros? The rest of them need an education. That is what's going to be the real value here, going to college, not so you can skip through college and get to the NBA as quickly as possible. Blah, 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 blah. The NBA and NBA Players Association conversations on eliminating the one-and-done rule are centered on the 2020 draft. If you're wondering how soon will all of this happen, that is the earliest possible date for change. That, according to league sources, as quoted by ESPN's own Adrian Wojnarowski, who does a great job in writing about this stuff, and it's why I don't mind quoting him first and foremost.
Take it to the bank.
The Players Association's executive committee, including Chris Paul, who's the president, won't meet, of course, until after the season concludes. The commission also recommends college players should be able to return to school if they go undrafted, which is something we did talk about. I don't know how long ago that was, but I always thought if you've got the player's best interest in mind, why are we going to penalize them here? You put your name out there, you don't get drafted, well, you come back to school.
Agreed. That should be applied to the NFL draft, though. The NBA draft, you can move forward without representation and then return back to college. That you can go to the combine and get a draft grade, an educated draft grade, more than what the NFL is, which is a phone call. I mean, these things are common sense, but the problem here, I think some good will come from what's being talked about. I do think
some good will come because I think they realize they have to make change now. You had the FBI come sweeping in, and that thing's not even done.
But I think these people are being paid by Satan. This is ridiculous because what they're trying to do is propagate the continuation of this model, which has always been trash.
Right. Well, now you're talking about amateurism on the whole. I'm talking about fixes to specific college basketball that would change college basketball and get this ship righted to some extent. One thing they got to do is, again, you got to continue to start holding these coaches accountable, man. The coaches are the ones that are actively involved in this scandal, and we know this. And I think part of the problem the NCAA has is that, okay, so they open up their eyes to this finally, or they have them forced open, and they get told in no uncertain terms something's going to be done about this because the government is involved, the FBI is involved. And so then they go, okay, well, you're right. We've got to make sweeping changes to assure the public that, we're doing the right thing, and we're doing the right thing by these kids, and what they're watching is real and all that. All right. What if what you find, which I believe this will be the case and has already been shown to be true, is that all of the biggest names in the sport, the people that on the backs of these people you've made tons of money, and they're in the commercials, and they are considered the leaders at the forefront of guiding these college basketball players through their time in the NCAA and their member institutions. Like, I don't know, Rick Pitino or Coach K or Roy Williams, or name any other major coach in college basketball whom we directly associate with not just the play on the court, but really the marketing of the sport. What if they're all dirty? What if they're all involved? Because they are all in this. We now know that, right? That's some of what the FBI revealed. Well, what do you do? What do you do now? They're all guilty. What do we do? Do you say, okay, guys, we know what you've been doing, but
from here on
out, now, we're not going to roll you because it's a bad look for all of us. We're not going to go public with the fact that Coach K and Roy Williams, and to go along with Pitino and all these other guys who we do know about, are all guilty of the same type things. We're just telling you that, hey, it ends now. We're all moving forward, and it stops now.
I think you kind of have to. I think you can't. That's what this is doing, right? Let the FBI indictments go where they go, and then you set a drop-dead date, be it August 1st, 2018, and you say, here's the deal when it comes to discipline. But I don't think you can retroactively go back because they have their hands in the dirt.
Yes.
I don't know. You're between a rock and a hard place, and bottom line is I agree with you. I think that the college basketball will be better off for whatever changes come between now and the 2020 draft. But that still doesn't solve the larger problem, and I think what this does is skirting the main issue. I think that's also intended here. I think nobody wants to rock that boat. And so if we have to get David Robinson and Condoleezza Rice to be out in front of a microphone and smile about this stuff, then so be it. But let's spin this thing so that we can keep our hands on the bulk of the cash.
Yeah, but the problem, okay, you can spin that part of it, but man, the FBI is the FBI. If they hand down, they're not done with that investigation. They're not done with levying charges and everything else. What happens if one by one we now learn that these people you are willing to kind of look the other way and say, okay, from this date forward, we're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have to let the FBI go where it's going to go. You have no choice in that matter. But beyond what directly the FBI can tie somebody to, you have from the NCAA's point of view, because it is not a legislative body.
Right.
You have your own code that begins. Guys, these new rules take effect, and you don't have to even call attention to it.
Right.
These new rules take effect August 1st, and we all know what that means.
Yeah. So if you're caught speeding now,
right,
we got problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They call it a bump. I've told you that before, where you schedule to go see a kid during certain time periods.
Yes, it's a supermarket.
It just so happens that you run into him in the office and you didn't intend to. And the NCAA allows for those kinds of things because that could be a case where you are in a city to look at a kid whom you're not allowed to talk to, and you go to the Publix on your way out of town and you run into them. Oh, how about that? Well, these were all being manipulated so that these bumps would occur, and of course these players would get to talk to coaches, and coaches would be able to offer whatever they offer. What Condoleezza Rice and others are saying from this committee in terms of enforcement, I think this is interesting. They would like to see an overhaul in the investigative and enforcement arms of the NCAA. If you truly wanted amateurism, okay, if you wanted to not undo all that's gone on for as long as it has, but actually make an impact, you're allowed to have independent and neutral investigators, which is what she is suggesting as well. But they recommend much harsher NCAA penalties for cheaters and rule breakers, which we've been saying all along. If you really wanted to end the practice that we see laid out before us with the FBI investigation, they have these level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 violations. Level 1 violation is a 5-year postseason ban. You lose every revenue that you got from any time you were in the postseason during the violations, and the coach is fired and banned for life. We're done here.
Yeah.
That's it. Now what are we doing?
Yeah.
I tell you what, you just curbed the need to cheat or the want to cheat or at least the repercussions
well,
for doing so.
For someone who's established, yes. I mean, maybe the new face would take a chance and try to, now that we're here, let's clean up the act.
Yeah.
But, if you really want to do that, then let's also raise the academic standards. Then let's change the academic curriculum. The AA degree, the core degree, your core classes. Mm-hmm. Why don't you standardize those and have them reported to the NCAA? I mean, you really want to have accountability from top to bottom? Then let's not push these kids into majors that help process them and move them along in the system so they're around for 4 or 5 years. Standardize it.
In a direct reference to the recent NCAA investigation into academic fraud at North Carolina, which they chose to do nothing about.
Correct.
Unbelievable. The commission recommended, of course they did, that the NCAA be able to do stuff about things like that, In fact, the more appropriate wording was they should have jurisdiction in that area. Well, you think?
Yeah, but I think you have to create a uniform policy because here's the thing with basketball. It's different than football. The haves, there are more of them, and the teams that are at the Division I level, I mean, there are scores more teams at the Division I level. You're talking about 300-plus programs. You just have to create a uniform curriculum that applies to every single university because that way you can also oversee the guys who are going to be one-and-done types, even if the rule doesn't exist anymore. They're not going to make their junior season. You can't allow universities to just kind of usher somebody in with a different academic standard and then, he's making the grade. What does that even mean?
They also want to address, I agree with you, they also want to address the ungoverned space, as they called it, as Condoleezza Rice called it, I think accurately so, that begins with grassroots basketball, as it's known.
Oh, well, okay, great.
And apparel companies.
We're going to end world hunger, too.
Well, no, she's talking about ungoverned space between the apparel companies and grassroots basketball. Like, whoa. We need to set
focus on. Yeah. You want to focus on an education, and let's talk about the education. Let's not just try and penalize coaches here and talk about apparel companies.
Just mentioned in the report. Yeah. They're looking at all of it. I mean, you got to get the apparel companies out of there.
This reminds me of when Tampa announced that they picked the site for the new Rays Stadium, and all these guys announced it. They have so many names. Like, this is such a great place. There's no actual design. Nothing. They haven't broken ground on anything. There isn't an agreement in place to move them from St. Pete. It's just an announcement for the sake of a frickin' announcement, for PR, to put pressure politically on a different city.
Right.
But it doesn't actually have any teeth to it. That's the question about what does this actually have teeth to do?
Nothing yet. These were suggestions. Now the NCAA has to take those suggestions as posited by the committee that they empowered to do the study, paid to do the study, who came back with pretty clear-cut and obvious things that we've all talked about for years on end. At least somebody's saying something. I do believe you have to move forward, given that, again, the FBI is the impetus for all this. This isn't just people crying wolf like we have been for a long time. This is the FBI going, yep, there's legitimate problems here, and these people are going to jail. And now we're forced to deal with the very thing that everybody's known has been dirty for the longest time. So let's hope that's the start of this. Come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual-bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting events? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
I was driving in my car and I smelled a number 5 with fries. Hadn't stopped for lunch, made me realize it was just my ride. Oh no. But with the new Febreze car, I got it under control. Now they come in light or bold, choose how you roll. Febreze car, roll with me and breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Nick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
You know what the Tampa Bay Lightning aren't doing tonight? Playing hockey, which is cool because the people we're playing against, one of which playing tonight.
That's right.
Because they have to.
Yeah, they're eliminating
still
each other. Oh, you know, that reminds me, we did get a tweet from TPE a couple of days ago about...
He didn't know who we were playing next. We're
Right.
Boston, Toronto, baby.
Well, to simplify it, there used to be reseeding, Mario. Used to be, 1 to 8, and then the lowest available seed plays. Now it's a bracket like college basketball. So just look at the bracket and you'll see...
What's the reason for that?
They wanted to create intra-division rivalries when they realigned within the conferences.
Well, that's a direct answer.
So, Pittsburgh, for example, is playing Washington for the 3rd or 4th year in a row. They really hate each
They'll
other.
dispatch Washington as they always do.
We've come to kind of hate Boston, so if it's Boston next round, that's what they were trying to do. But the problem is you have conference final quality series.
In the second round.
In the semifinals of the conference, not the semifinals for the cup.
I don't like it. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Probables. Fire away. Here we go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Twins, Yankees, Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray.
Yankees,
Braves, Reds.
They're on every night.
I know. Yeah, I was going to go off on a tirade about that, but I won't. Braves, Reds, Matt Whistler, Brandon Finnegan. D-backs, Phillies. Good one tonight, folks. Hey, a little Zach Greinke, Jake Arrieta action. All right.
I watched some of Robbie Ray pitch last night.
Old Robbie Ray's got a nice fastball.
He's also got the old Al Leiter, grunt scream
as he
lets the ball
through.
go.
Yeah. Rays, Orioles, Jake Faria, Alex Cobb. Am I saying Faria right? Is it Faria or Faria? Do you know?
He thinks Faria, says
Faria?
Matthew.
Yeah, I think so too. Felt bad about that, Jake. Sorry. Red Sox, Blue Jays, Eduardo Rodriguez, Aaron Sanchez. Cubs, Indians, John Lester, Trevor Bauer. Good game. Marlins, Dodgers, Trevor Richards, and Clayton Kershaw. Not a good game. A's, Rangers, Kendall Graveman, Doug Fister. Hey now. Brewers, Royals, Chassin, Hamill. Mets, Cards. I saw where Fatty Fat, I love to look at myself in the mirror, came in relief last night and promptly gave up a run.
He did.
That's what he does.
2 innings, 2 hits, a run, and a walk, and refused to talk to the media after the game was over.
I'm a starting pitcher, Tom. Mets, Cardinals, Steven Matz, Michael Wacha. That's all right. You didn't have much faith in last night. You won an extra innings.
We did. Wheeler went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs.
I watched.
Walked the world.
Yeah. He gave you that quality start you were looking for.
Last night I got Wheeler Harvey. Tonight I get Matz.
And Michael Wacha.
All right.
A look at those that shall reside on the bump. So Front Row Knowles is coming up next. They'll talk to Derek Nottie. That'll happen in the second segment. Good luck to Derek Nottie. I got to his story in the first hour, not in the last hour like I wanted to, so I'll let you listen, and you guys can kind of go back and catch up and have some fun with that. About a question he was asked at the Combine.
What a goofy process. It's borderline inappropriate.
Well, they're routinely inappropriate and get called out for it. Some people are less direct in their form of questioning, and they ask things that are pretty easy to see through, but other teams just straight up go, "Are you gay?" And they've been in trouble for that. They've gotten in trouble for that several times, as they should be.
We just need to know if we need to install protocols, that's all.
Anyhow, Front Row Knowles is coming up next. Did they talk to my man Tim Linnefeld? I got to assume that they do, right?
Oh, they do.
That's it. Yeah, there it is. So Nottie and Linnefeld. Chock full show.
Linnefeld, which is Latin for consistent as the sun rising.
Oh, man. Love me some Tim Linnefeld. We get in arguments sometimes about music, but we're both Pirate fans. We go way back.
He's a spoiled Penguins fan.
He is. Knowledgeable, though. He'll be on next.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks to all who called and or listened. Surely do appreciate it. Be well. Talk to you tomorrow.